You all, we are not licensed professionals. We are just here on this roller coaster called life, trying to be better friends to one another, trying to be better human beings on this planet. If you're tuning in, we are not opting out of therapy. We are not advocating that you listen to us and not see someone who is licensed and trained to help you with day-to-day life on how to cope and deal. So we advocate for therapy a lot here. We believe that everyone has something to talk to somebody about. So, just like to make that disclaimer that we're just here giving our opinions and having discussions week by week. And we're hoping that, maybe you can find something useful, or if at least find a little humor in this terrible, terrible rock we call the world.
In other words, if you listen to our advice and you get popped in the mouth, don't at us.
Yeah, don't at me because you may get popped in the mouth again. Welcome back to another episode of the Friendship University podcast. You all know the podcast where we come on here week after week and express and spill ourselves out, hoping that in an effort in bettering ourselves, it will encourage you to want to better yourselves, because we believe in progression over perfection, and every day you can do something to be a little bit better. I know that as you're looking at this, you are seeing a surprise face. We have been welcomed for the 100th episode of Friendship University podcast with George Aigbe, a longtime friend. He is a longtime friend of mine. He is a longtime friend of Tarrah's. He is just, in my eyes, an all-around stand-up guy. He has really shown me that black men really do be out here winning. And if you believe in yourself and you keep God first, nothing is impossible. So we are welcoming George. George, how you doing? How's your week been? How's your last 7 days been?
Thank you for that intro. I feel honored to be here with my good friends, my old school friends. Some day ones right here. It's been good. I've been looking forward to this opportunity. It's gonna be like a family reunion. Just excited to be here. Week's been good. How y'all been doing?
Good.
Tarrah, how's your week been?
Good. Just good. God is good. Nothing like to share that's super interesting. Singing a little bit, but all around good.
Just singing in the rain. Well, I saw Melissa Misdemeanor Elliott the third herself in person with Sierra.
How did that go?
It was a time. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. I did not sit down for a majority of the show. I'm going to say this. There were 4 people on the bill, and I mean like heavy hitters. There was Timbaland, there was Busta, there was Sierra, and there was Missy. 3 of those 4 people brought it from start to finish. But one of those people, whose responsibility was really to get the crowd hyped from the beginning, we could have did a hologram for what they did. We didn't even really need you on the stage. It was a little disappointing for that. But when I tell you, I was dun 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 the entire night. Like, it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I was not disappointed. Sierra is moving like she got 22-year-old knees and ankles. Missy moving around. It's great. Busta Rhymes has really mastered what I like to call the Mariah Carey effect, where there's a lot of people moving around you, so it looks like you're moving, but you're not actually moving. People are just moving around you, so everybody just thinks you're moving as well. So, love that. It was a great time. Outside of that, it's just been a regular, I guess, last 7 days. But I definitely encourage people, if Missy is coming to your city, it is worth it. It is one of the shows that definitely is worth the hype to go see, for sure. I don't know. Are you all like kind of concert goers? Like, Katara, I know you go to a couple, but
I have been to a few in my day. And I'm picky. Like if I really mess with you,
You saw the Anita, the one,
I
the
did see
Baker.
Anita. I've seen Stevie Wonder. I think he was
Oh
number one
wow.
for me. I've seen Jasmine Sullivan a couple times. And then like a bunch of the gospel people I've seen, like pretty much all the gospel people. But as far as like them people, yeah, Stevie was like number one. He had like a
Stevie does put a
symphony and
great show
everything.
on.
It was
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
so
I've
good.
seen Stevie Wonder. I have not yet seen Anita Baker, unfortunately, and I honestly don't know if I'll ever get the opportunity to see her.
She canceled her show.
But
Canceled her show,
Yeah.
but she was absolutely awesome. But I do think if Babyface was before her, it would have been better. But she was absolutely amazing. No joke at all.
oh
Also,
yeah,
Wilson was really good too. I've seen him, so yeah.
I would listen to it.
I'll do a
You
concert
do
now. I will go.
compliment. George, what
Yes,
about
he
you?
was
How you
good
feel about
though.
concerts? How you feel
I'm a
about them?
big concert goer. Like I typically go to the One Music Fest in Atlanta every
Mm-hmm.
year. That's usually like a bunch of people. So I seen last concert I saw Megan Thee Stallion. When she was out, that was earlier this year. That was actually entertaining. I got free tickets to go see her, so I was like,
That
I'm
was
not.
with Glorilla.
Yeah. So I went to that, but one of the best shows I've seen recently was T Pain, and that was like a
Mm.
surprise. Yes, T Pain gives a good show, y'all. He gives a really good show.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a smaller venue, so it was a little bit more intimate, but it was a good show. So I was like, I'm really big on concerts, like some of the bigger Afrobeats artists and stuff like that. Seen them out
Yeah,
there.
I love. Do you know who I love? I would love to see in concert.
Who?
Flavor.
Oh yeah. Oh, see.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Flavor. He has tunes. He definitely has tunes. I like to see him.
Baby.
Oh.
I don't think I've seen any shows happening in the States.
Ashake just performed in DC. Yeah. Last night. And so like he's coming to Atlanta next. I'm debating if I want to see him because his show is on a Tuesday. I don't know if I'm a little too old for that.
Oh wait, I think I did hear about that show. I think it was at the Howard Theater
No, this is
or
at
something like
Capital
that.
One.
Capital One Arena.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
Wow.
getting big. They doing big things. The
Yeah.
Afrobeats artist is doing big things. So I was like, do I want to go? It's on. I think the 22nd is what, Tuesday, I think, or something. I just know it's in the middle of the week. I don't know if I can swing that, but yeah.
It's a sacrifice to do that. Missy's show was on a Thursday, and I was like, Thursday really is like you pushing it, Melissa, but I'm gonna do it because I don't know if I'll ever be able to see you again. I have no
Is
regrets.
her real name Melissa?
Her real name is Melissa. Yes.
Wow.
Those are those artists that like you want to see before you miss the chance. Because I missed out on the opportunity to go see Prince when he was performing in Atlanta. And that was his last show.
I went to that show.
I
Yep,
was
and I was
I,
there that
I was
year.
debating to go or not, and I'm so mad at myself for not going because I was like, it's Prince, and then it became his last show. It's like,
Mm,
Yeah, I
that's
feel the
sad.
same way. When that happened, I was like, dang, I was at that show. And then I was trying to, so I had convinced my mom at the time to make one of my graduation gifts to see Michael Jackson. Because, he was doing that whole tour, but then he passed away. And so it was just like, So at that point, I vowed, if I had the opportunity to see somebody, I'm going to take it.
yeah,
Whenever I can see them. So
You were gonna go see This Is It. That's
Yeah,
what
my
you were
my
doing.
mom, they like my whole family was coming together. I was going to go to Europe and like see it over there because it was like 2 years, I think, prior to we graduated, or like a year or something before we graduated. So they were trying to get everything together for me to be able to go over there and see him. Yeah, and I was like, so at that point, I was like, I'm gonna see everybody. I saw Prince, I saw Elton John at like his last concert that he
yeah.
officially quote unquote did.
But
All
he's been
kind of
having a farewell
stuff.
tour for like 4 years now.
He's like. He's like,
You leaving or not?
Yeah, what's the deal?
honestly, he's like Chris Brown. Chris Brown has not stopped touring since we saw him saying yo. Like, he been on tour since we was in high school, I think.
You gotta pay for them legal fees. I mean,
the bills don't stop coming just because you're a celebrity, quote unquote. The
especially
bills are
you a
going to
celebrity like
come.
Chris Brown. Come on now. So
Hey, one thing I want people to understand is being at the top costs a lot. It ain't just about time and attention. It's also monetarily. When you are considered the head, people are always coming at the neck of the king. So keep that in mind, kids. If you're listening and you wanna be at the top, the legal fees. George can attest to this. He is a lawyer, so
What kind of
he
law?
knows.
What kind of law do you do, George?
I do criminal defense mostly. So I represent people, try to keep them out of jail. I'm not on the YSL case. If anybody before anybody asks, I'm not representing Thug.
Thank God. That trial is a
The
mess.
crazy thing about that was they actually asked, they were looking for attorneys to represent his co-defendants, and I was just like, nah. I already knew it was going. This case has been going on for 2 years, but like I do criminal defense and I do immigration because those things are very personal to me. So sounds crazy, but yeah, but those things are personal to me. So those are the type of cases that I've been doing for like the last 8 years.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, man. You've been in law for almost a decade. This
Yeah,
is crazy. I remember meeting you and you telling me, I'm gonna be a lawyer. I was like,
yeah,
we
right.
were like freshmen. We were like freshmen. I'm like, this Negro be arguing about
I,
basketball.
I remember when we were in the computer lab and you told me you were Nigerian. I was like, no, you're not. You're like, Tarrah, I'm African. I was like, no, you're not. Because I grew up in Chicago. We don't meet a lot of Africans. Everybody's just black from the hood. You know what I'm saying? He was like, no, I'm African. I was like, prove it. He said,
I had to show you the pictures when I me back home.
no, you did show me, and then you said something in like a Nigerian accent, and I was like, what?
Oh,
if you
Good old freshman year.
if you knew I was Nigerian, you would know I was serious about being a lawyer because I had no choice. You know,
You didn't have no choice.
I
You're gonna
had
be
a,
a lawyer or a
you
doctor
that's it.
gonna be a lawyer
or an
or a doctor
engineer.
or engineer. Them your
That's
three
it.
options, or you gonna own a business
Right.
that has something to do with that for sure. I believed him when he said it, but I ain't gonna hold you. It was really like I said, oh no, he actually grew up in an African household when I met your
Yeah.
parents. I said, oh my God.
Oh my word.
Your father, a man of few words, but every word he spoke, powerful.
Yeah, like it's like you live with Mufasa for real, like like
I said, oh my goodness, this man is actually African.
yeah.
Oh my
That was
gosh.
no
Good times,
exaggeration.
good
My
times.
mom
No
at
exaggeration.
orientation, like you had to declare your major. Back then, you had to declare your major like at
You
orientation.
had to at the time,
My
yeah.
mom was standing beside me, What will you be? I said, I want to be a lawyer. I was sorry, I want to be a lawyer. They're like, I had no choice. She was on my neck. She was ready.
I can't imagine that pressure. I mean, my parents, well, my mom's not an immigrant, but technically my dad would, I guess, have been considered an immigrant. And then we would have been his first generation. But like, she wanted me to go in medicine, but she was really like, whatever, like, as long as you feel like it's going to lead you down the path, da 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 da. But like, on your neck,
Yeah,
doctor, lawyer, educator,
it's
these are
three of
your
us.
paths, engineer.
It's three of us, like me, my brother, and my sister. And my mom lined us up and said, "Okay, which one of you guys? So which one of you guys? Which one of you gonna be a doctor? Because I don't want to waste my time." So I was just like, no. I raised my hand.
You actually did it though. You did it.
I took the pressure. I took the pressure off my siblings for sure.
Yeah,
So
your brother.
what did they end up? Did they end up falling in any of those categories
My
as well?
sister started off being a nurse. She wanted to be a nurse, which is a very,
Mm-hmm.
very standard Nigerian woman
Very standard.
occupation.
Very standard immigrant
Oh,
period. A
absolutely.
lot of Caribbean people become nurses as
But
well.
she ended up changing her degree, and my brother went into computers. My parents don't really understand that, so they ease up off him. So my brother just said, "I'm in computers." I'm like, "Okay, well, as long as he's in computers, I mean, he does computers. What can we say? I don't know." So,
Yeah.
I was like, so
But tech is huge now.
it
So if
is.
he's in the
Yeah.
tech realm, that's like the future. So
And it's only gonna grow, especially if he like starts to do specialties in AI and stuff. He will be very, it's like the people who learned computers in the 90s, and they were like, this is the wave of the future. Like, they blew up in the 2000s because they knew these things before. We because we've been, I think, so accustomed to having access to computers and technology, we don't really see where it can go, but it can, like, AI can
It's the future.
go.
Yeah.
It's really the future. So you have the youth now who are studying that and can take it further than we could ever imagine, for sure. But yes, so we got the gang back together. It's a family reunion at the cookout. Who we introducing? So you know how this goes. You can anticipate episodes from us every Friday, Friendship Fridays. Pew, 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 pew. We took a break because it was summer vacation and we needed some time away. So if you have been trying to catch up, or you did catch up and you realized over the last couple of weeks you didn't really see any new episodes posted, that was why. And we did go ghost. And, you know, we didn't mean to, but it happens and life happens and that's reality. So we're here now and we're picking back up as the school year is hopping back into it. So we're just going to jump into what's currently happening. Did y'all hear about the Illinois school worker that was sentenced to 9 years for stealing $1.5 million in chicken wings?
This is from my city.
Your city, would you like to speak on it as the official
I'm
spokesperson
sure
of
I heard she was
Illinois?
selling chicken to Harold's. No, I'm just joking. Allegedly. Harold's is a big chicken spot where I'm
It
from. Allegedly.
is.
No. You know, Chicago people are hustler. No, I'm just joking. I'm not surprised. Somebody said that if there's a professional athlete, I thought, that's gonna like pay it back on her behalf, so she
Yeah,
don't have to be
she.
in jail that long. But like, chicken
How do
wings,
you.
ma'am.
So the funny thing is, I actually heard about this story like a year or two ago from another podcast. That Kev on Stage does about things that him and a few of his comedic friends do a podcast about what they saw on the internet. And at the time, it was just like she had been caught. There was no like charges pressed or anything. So I completely forgot about it. So seeing her actually charged for 9 years, because this happened during the pandemic too. How do you steal $1.5 million in chicken? First of all, what
How?
school is
She wasn't.
like doing chicken wings?
Here's my thing. She wasn't doing it alone. Not possible.
No,
Not
Absolutely not.
possible. She wasn't doing it alone. An old lady stealing that many chicken wings. It was some serious, you know.
The chicken
Working
wings had to
together.
be a front for something. The
100%.
cocaine or something was in the background. There's no way you're stealing $100.5 million worth of chicken wings.
One
I
point
could
five.
go to the DeKalb Farmers Market right now in Atlanta and spend $1,000 on chicken wings, and it would probably be the equivalent of that 1.5 million pounds.
Yeah,
That
she
they're
was
saying.
probably she's probably made a ton of money because she was probably selling it to
yeah.
restaurants for sure.
What's crazy to me is one that this didn't happen in Atlanta. Like this is a very Atlanta story for somebody to be stealing chicken wings. That's a very Atlanta story. So I was surprised that it happened in another city. Slightly relieved because we don't need no more bad PR.
Man, good grief, we don't. Jesus.
But seriously though, like I think 9 years is excessive. You know, lady like 62 years old. 9 years, I get it. I get it. You stealing from kids. You stealing from the government. But 9 years for some chicken wings. When you hear it, it sounds crazy. That sounds crazy.
That's a
But
lot of money
she
though.
did it during the pandemic. She did it during the pandemic though. So whose mouth or whose children's mouths was she actually taking food from? Because everybody was virtual.
Right. So Chicago had that part of Chicago. They were doing basically a program. They were sending the food to the kids. You see what I'm saying? Even though they weren't going to school,
Oh,
they
so
were
they
still
were
trying to make
still
sure the kids
getting
were getting fed.
lunch.
Yeah. I mean,
I
the
did
kids
not
It
were
was
know that.
but it was
Wow.
over the course of like a long time.
2 years.
So whatever she was
2
doing,
years,
she
yeah.
was smart about it. Like she was not getting caught. Like how, you know what I'm saying? Like these kids really eating a lot, y'all, right?
But at the same
You know
time,
what I'm saying? Like
I went to public school my whole life. We never had chicken wings. Like never.
That's what I'm
Never.
saying. That's what my question is. That was my original
That'd have
question.
been the first red
What
flag.
school is getting chicken wings?
I've
I
never,
never.
and I grew up in Chicago, and we never had a chicken wing. I never seen a chicken wing in my life. We had chicken
Meatloaf.
nuggets,
Yeah.
chicken
I don't
tenders,
even think we
but
had
never
meatloaf.
a wing. So who's what?
That'd have been the first red
It's
I.
flag.
giving inside job. It's giving inside job.
It's giving. She's the
Them
fall
kids
man.
never seen a wing their entire from first to eighth grade.
Never.
Okay, from first to high school grade.
First to 12th, really. You ain't never
Okay,
seen the chicken. The closest to chicken I've ever seen in public school is a chicken sandwich.
a chicken tender, them chicken
Or
fried chicken sandwiches.
yes.
I've never seen a wing ever. So somebody was in on it. They was making their money. She's the fall person.
Yeah, she got to be the fall person.
She's the
She didn't
fall
know
person.
she was going to be the fall person, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But
she did.
I agree with you, George, especially as the lawyer. I think 9 years is pretty excessive.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, yes, she defrauded the education system. I get it. It's pretty embarrassing. But 9 years?
9
She's
years is a
60
lot.
something.
They making an example of her because 9 years is a lot. I mean, I think about cases I've done and people that I've represented where they've gotten less time for a lot worse. I mean, like I said, $1.5 million is a lot. It don't matter if it was chicken wings or rubber bands or rulers. That's still a lot of money to take from the government. But I think we could have came up with something better than her doing 9 hard years in prison. That's crazy.
They have to, though. The government is going to make an example out of you. The two things they don't play around with, being made a fool of and you taking the money from them. This is why your favorite celebrities go down for tax evasion, because you're going to pay what you owe.
We got some people still waiting to go to jail for them PPP loans. So I'm just,
Okay, do you got the inside job? Do you got the inside scoop on it? Because I've just been wondering, because they was trying to make examples of some of these celebrities, but I know some people that I've read about. I don't know them personally, government, if you're watching, that has taken it because I got nothing to do with that
I don't know
PPP
nothing about that.
scandal, whatever. But so they're still like actively going after people using for the PPP loans.
It was crazy. It's like there's a database where you can like just look up the PPP loans in your state, and I'm looking like people took out a lot of money. A lot of people made money, but people just got greedy. I personally know people who were getting here 50, 60K, talking about they got businesses of 10 people, and it's just them inside their house. So I mean, that's part of the reason my eggs cost $10 right now. They getting that money one way or the other. So I was like, it's like we need that money back. We're gonna get it somehow, some way. So here we are.
I don't understand why people play with the government like this. Like, your freedom is not worth $10,000.
You got COVID was crazy. We're gonna look back on COVID like 10, 20 years from now. I'm like, that was a really crazy time. That was insane.
It's gonna be in history books. Our kids will probably be reading about it as being a pandemic and all of that jazz. So it's definitely it made a huge impact on the world, the United States and specifically, but the world for sure. That's crazy. Well, I did not do any kind of PPP loans, no scamming over here.
I wish I did get a loan.
I told you to do the PPP. Now, okay, Tarrah is a legitimate business owner, and I told you, I said, now you need to do the PPP loan. You had paperwork though.
Yeah,
but if the Holy Spirit told you to do, you just have to follow. Because if you would have maybe, I don't want to put you in jail. So who knows? Maybe you just follow what you do.
She wouldn't have went to jail.
I don't know.
She can call me. We would have taken care of it.
I appreciate you, bro.
Okay.
Come get me out.
Down. Hey, so
hey, remember that time?
very big misunderstanding. Got some things I gotta work out. Please, just get me out on bond. I am so afraid of my freedom being snatched from me. I just cannot. And in full transparency, I have been arrested before. So I know what it feels like to get put in the back of that police car.
Right.
And get taken to a now I've never been booked. I've never actually went to jail, but I was arrested because your girl was wilding in her younger days. But thank God I don't look like what I've been through.
You gonna give
But
us
oh
more? You gonna tell
yeah.
us more about that, or you gonna leave it at that?
Let's just say that the Lord has helped an anger issue that I once had, and bottles going up against people's heads will put you in jail.
Thank God for growth. That's what we call that. That's growth.
so don't put your hands. This is what I will say. Fighting is never cute. But as an adult, they will lock you up for it.
Yeah.
Lock you up.
Period. So, don't do with that information as you will, but your girl never been booked. And you'll never find my mugshot, so I'll say it, because it's been wiped off the internet. You'll never find it anywhere. I've been eradicated. So, yes, that was something that I was like, oh my, so this is really happening. Like, for real, for real. Like, handcuffs and all, I'm getting put in the back of a police car. I'm actually going to a detention. Like, so I'm waking up to slop. Y'all are like, oh no, absolutely not for me. Nothing is worth that in my mind. Like, going to prison and being at the whim. I just recently watched not a documentary, but it was a show on Netflix called, I don't remember what it's called, but you all may have heard of it. This warden was testing this program around prisons where he gave the prisoners pretty much open door policy. He wanted them to become a community. So they were on 23-1, which for people who may not know what that means is they were locked in their cell for 23 hours a day and they got 1 hour of freedom in the common area. And so what he did was he stripped that. He removed the wardens. They were able to move about how they wanted. Same food distribution, cameras, people were watching. And he just wanted to test the theory that if you give adults the free reign to become a community and take things seriously, you don't necessarily have to lock them up as animals. They can be rehabilitated, in a sense, is what he was trying to test.
These had to be
Y'all can watch it.
These had to be very low level, like low security people, because I know jail and jail is crazy. So
Actually, what some of these people were awaiting trial for capital murder. Which, if you don't know what capital murder is, that means you murder someone who's like an official of the law, so a police officer, EMS, a doctor, something like that, and that is punishable by the death penalty. So,
you remember
but
the name of the show? I gotta check this out.
I'm gonna send it to you though. I think you will be interested in it. I gotta think about. I can't remember the name of it, but it's on Netflix and it just came out like maybe earlier this year. It's not relatively old. It's newer. But
So what was the outcome? Did it work?
honestly, actually, it proved that keeping people locked up for so long and only giving them a limited amount of time does make issues arise because you're just angry because you've been locked up. It did work in the sense of they continued it after so they did 6 weeks, and he was kind of disappointed with how they handled things over that 6 weeks. But our producer said it's called Unlocked on Netflix, and he did allow them to continue to stay free, and he was moving it to other wards within the prison. So he just did it in one sector, and then he was moving it around because he was like the sheriff, whatever the highest is in a prison. I don't know those terminologies, but he believed that they could govern themselves as adults without. There was only one instance of like serious violence. There was other violent incidents where people got into fights and stuff, but there was only one instance where an inmate made a very dangerous object that could have killed somebody, and they saw it beforehand. They removed that person. And so what essentially happened at the end of the program is they were like, hey, we see these things are happening, and they already could see who the people were, but they wanted to see if the community was willing to step up and say, hey, these are the bad apples that are ruining it for the rest of us? Are you willing to say, like, put that culture to the side of no snitching or all this and say, like, for a majority of us, we feel like this is doable, but it's these couple of, because it was the same people over and over and over again causing issues.
Sure.
So they were like, are you willing to? But what ended up happening was the main person who was causing issues, actually stood up and incriminate himself before anybody had to vote for him. So he was like, it's me. I don't want to ruin this for anybody else. So I think it embedded responsibility into them. It embedded this sense of ownership, which I think we really take for granted as free individuals. When you're locked up, I feel like your ownership is just stripped from you. You don't have any autonomy whatsoever. And that could do detriment to the human mentality, I feel like, where you just don't feel like you have the ability or any say so in what happens in your day to day. So I think giving that back to them truly helped. But yeah, it's called Unlocked on Netflix. It's good. So check it out if you can. But yeah, good luck to that lady. I don't know. How does that work? Even so, when you get sentenced, a part of it is because of the restitution you have to pay. So they give it to you in time versus money. But couldn't they just have fined her for that? Like, how would this celebrity be able to pay for her and her do less time?
He can't. I don't know what he's talking about.
They say he's gonna pay back
Yeah,
what she took from the school or something like
he's
that. I don't
Because I
offering.
know.
thought you still have to do time and they still charge you restitution.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's offering, trying to say, hey, I'll pay to avoid her going to jail, but it's not how it works. I mean, she's already been sentenced to the 9 years. Um, and that's, I mean, it's nice. The guy's name is Chris Jones. He plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's nice for him to offer to take that, because we don't want to see one of our elders go to jail, but it's not going to change anything. So for her purposes, I mean, she'll probably have to do the 9 years, or she'll do some part of it, and then she'll be responsible. I don't know if restitution was a part of it, but if it is, then yeah, he can pay the restitution part. But the jail time is just a punishment. Restitution is a part of the sentence that she's gonna have to pay if they impose it. So it's a nice gesture, but that's not how that works.
Wow. Well, good luck to her. In other news, I saw that they are doing a Different World sequel. Tarrah, thoughts? Because you clearly have it's not a reboot though. It's a sequel. So I think I read that it's supposed to focus on Dwayne and Whitley's daughter as they go into college.
They just ruin everything. I've never seen a reboot or a sequel that's better than the original. I've never seen it. And it's just like they flip characters around, they make them all weird, they try to modernize them and make them all like extra having, all today things are so political and like they try to add all, and that's what made it good. It's like wasn't all this extra weirdo stuff going on that's going on now. Like it's just family, funny, and like normal. And they when they reboot it and they try to modernize it, it just makes it not as good. And I've never seen not one reboot that is as good as the original. Never. So it's just what's the point? Just write a freaking new show.
Yeah.
Like we act like we ran out of ideas for shows. Like it's a million freaking stories that we could tell about different things. Why do you need to take something that's been done in excellence, perfected, and tell the same story? Like, what is the point of that? Like, why don't you just write something new? I don't get it. It's annoying. But those are my thoughts.
George, what do you think?
Uh, I think so. I saw the cast on. They all came out, what, like the BET Awards, right? I think this most recent BET
I'm not
Awards.
sure.
Well, they were there, and they look old. And I mean, no disrespect to them. It's okay to leave something as it is, and like it was perfect. The first
It was perfect.
seasons 2 to like 5, we don't talk about the first
People
season. We don't talk about the first
people
season.
talk about the first
We don't talk
season,
about the
but
first
I
season.
like the first season was good too. It had some good episodes,
It
but that's a
does,
conversation for another
but
day.
when you're thinking about a
Don't
different
do
world,
it.
you're thinking about season two and beyond, right?
Absolutely.
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 Post Lisa
Midas Lisa
Bonet.
Bonet.
Yeah.
After
Once
Lisa
she left,
Bonet,
that's the show, right? And I'm
that's
just
when it became amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so like
No
for me,
shade.
it's like I agree with Tara. Like leave it. Like it's okay. We can have
Just
it.
leave it.
If you want to tell a story about college kids, you can literally tell a story about college kids. You don't have to tie it into something that's already existed because, there are stories to be told, and I mean, it feels forced, right? It's the same reason why we have
Force.
yeah, it feels forced. It's the same reason why we have the Fast and the Furious like 15 right now. It's like
Okay, no,
yo,
I will watch Fast and the Furious to the end of time because y'all want to keep remaking all these other
see,
films, and
Christian, you're part of
y'all
the
don't.
problem.
Star Wars, but I'm saying though,
I feel like
okay. I'm not gonna watch Fast and the Furious, but if Fast and the Furious can do it, I'll watch every remake of Bad Boys they ever make. I'll keep going to the theater to see. They can take Bad Boys to space. I'm in there.
I
I want to
agree.
see
okay,
it
I'm just saying it was a perfect
It
show.
was.
It was just such
for
a
the
special
time. Yeah.
show for that time.
Hmm.
So write a new story.
Hmm.
I don't understand.
Hmm.
That's what you do for a living. Like find a new story. Go
People are
on the
creative,
internet and
Tara.
find something else interesting to write about. Like don't mess with something that's perfected. It
I
was just like no shade to like Color Purple. Color Purple, I love Oprah. I thought it was a musical. But Color Purple, the movie, was a perfect movie to
I
me.
could have done without the remake, if I'm being honest. I mean,
It was a
Fantasia did
perfect
great,
movie.
and it was good casting, and it was good to watch as a picture. But thinking about it as what it was originally, I could have done without
and
it.
that's the
I wouldn't.
point.
It didn't add any
Like
value to the original film.
Color Purple was literally a perfect story. Like it was a perfect movie.
You're right.
Like in every way,
It did its
it
thing.
was perfect. It was like so to try to take something that's already like a miracle, like it was just like why would you do that?
Mm.
Although it was beautiful in its own way, it's just like I feel like we could have told a new story
You're right.
with those actors and like we could have did something new and profound.
The
Like
color blue,
Color
whatever.
orange. Let's do something different.
black.
You know, like do some, let's do something new and like vibrant and tell it like
Yeah.
it reminds me of like when Wakanda came out. It was just like finally something new, something historical, something beautiful that is a new tale that we can experience. And that's how I always feel. I just feel like leave well enough alone and stuff. Unless it was made to be like that. Like I was just watching an interview from the lady who wrote Terminator and she wrote Matrix. Unless
And it
it
was
was
supposed to be.
created like that, then let's not just keep adding on randomly. You know, she wrote The Matrix in three. She wrote Terminator in three or four part, whatever. That's how it was made to be. So it wasn't like all these sequels was just coming out. It was written like that.
And to
So
be fair,
I
I like
get
Terminator 2 better than Terminator
Oh
1.
yeah,
right. So it
absolutely.
makes sense. But to just be like, oh, we're just gonna be rude. We're just gonna add a second that's out of nowhere and just try to. A lot of times, it just doesn't work for me.
It's a
I
money
just don't.
grab. I think
It's a
people.
money grab.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think people who make decisions are not creative. I think that they're thinking about,
They're not
yeah,
creative.
how can they make the most amount of money? So
Young Moolah,
yeah,
baby.
they're trying to tap into nostalgia for us because like I just
Yes.
saw a commercial for like a prequel for the Lion King.
Mufasa,
And
yeah.
I'm like, bro, why?
Wow. What do you mean a
Why?
prequel?
Why are we
We
telling a story
know
about
what
Mufasa? We don't
happened.
need this. And then they making Mufasa, they're making Scar a victim in the movie, and I'm like, come on, y'all, like we don't need this. We don't need this.
Oh.
But people are gonna go because it's the Lion King, and you are emotionally connected to the Lion King. You're gonna take your kids out there, and you're gonna be mad about it. Like honestly, and this is what they know. It's the same reason why
Yeah.
every song now has a sample because people like instead of trying to come up with a new beat, I'm gonna use
That's
a
so true,
familiar beat.
George.
They have but here's what I'll say about that.
It's
Cause
so annoying.
sampling is not new.
Right.
A lot of the music we grew up on had samples,
I know.
but
Yeah.
they were sampled, not duplicated.
Yeah.
Today, the music is duplicated. Y'all
Y'all
ain't
just
even change
re-singing.
it. You just re-singing, redoing. Jacquees, self-proclaimed king of R&B, is just out here singing songs straight up and getting blocked by LMA because he don't know how to come up with his
Yeah.
own stuff.
He's literally
Yeah.
just
And,
doing
and
it a worse version of it. I'm
literally,
like,
John B was like, "Yeah, I hate that." Somebody redid his song. I think it was like Chloe and Gunna. He was like, "I hate it.
That's not what
I
a
like
song's
hate the
for.
song." And we're gonna talk about that because like they just re-sung his whole song like he never sung it. Like, yeah,
And
like
artists should have the
why did he clear it
ability
then?
to talk about that.
he
Well,
didn't clear
so
it.
he didn't clear it. And then
Oh.
what also tends to happen a lot of times people don't understand. Like this kind of goes to, I don't know if you know who Saucy Santana is, and when he did the Beyonce, the Dangerously in Love, and people were like, "Oh, he got cleared by Beyonce." It was never Beyonce's song to begin with. She actually had sampled a song from the 70s.
Mm.
So that person cleared it, but we just didn't
Yeah,
know that. And so then, so you just, a lot of times, the
they
artists
haven't written a
don't
song.
have, yeah. So it's just not about them clearing it. But I agree. I I'm not a big proponent on reboots and sequels. I've never been a big proponent of that. Even as someone who, I feel like I probably could name a dozen or so sequels that were good, I still feel like reboots are different, and then continuing conversations don't always have to happen. Like certain things happen because of the times. We have Grownish, which is like, it really, I think, does a good depiction of the kids who are in college now,
Right.
which is a spinoff of Blackish.
Mm.
And so and they had two generations. So the daughter and the brother both go through college and like
You know,
do
I
that
I really
thing.
don't see spinoffs as the same thing as
Well,
reboots.
see, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
It's a sequel slash spinoff, not a reboot.
yeah.
So this is supposed to focus on Whitley's and Dwayne's daughter, and she's supposed to be going through college, which could potentially be different. But it's just that kind of like rhyme and rhythm of getting the tone right of what's happening
Yeah.
right now, which is difficult.
And
I
it was
will,
so long ago. It
and
was
it
so long ago. I think
and
Blackish
the
worked because it was like, okay, we just went
well,
right into
Blackish
a
worked because
spinoff.
it started that's also why A Different World worked, because you had the Cosbys. The
The
Cosbys
show.
had
Right.
set the precedent.
Right.
So
Right.
then it went into we want
That
more.
made sense.
That makes sense. Blackish was ending. Let's give them more. And so now to reboot something almost 30 years, or not, let me not say reboot, but create a spinoff almost 30 years
It's kind of.
No,
after,
a full
it's
30
giving
years.
Desperado.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
giving Desperado a little bit. And then I will say this. The only, for me, that I can think of right now, reboot of a show that has done a great depiction of it because they went a totally different way was Fresh Prince. Bel Air is
Mm.
actually a really great show. And you want to know why? Because Fresh Prince was very comedic centered. That was the forefront. Will Smith was the comedy of it. Bel Air is a drama, and the comedy comes second. So it's like these actors are doing really real dramatic things, and then we get a little bit of laughs to alleviate, and then we move forward into another serious prompt. Whereas with the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, it was like we laugh, we laugh, we laugh. Oh, we get the gun episode. We laugh, we laugh, we laugh. Get the father episode. We laugh, we laugh, we laugh. Like, but this is not the same. It's flipped almost. So I say that was a good depiction. I really do think Bel Air has done a really great job of being a reboot of a show. Outside of that, I can't really think about anything else. The Lion King, keep it. The live, and enough with the live action. Since we're talking about it,
Yeah,
enough.
Disney
I
got
don't
to
want no
Disney
more
got to
live
chill.
action.
Disney got to chill out this live action stuff. I'm like, I don't want to see live action Humpback of Notre Dame. I don't want to see none of this. Like, y'all, please stop. It's enough.
Please.
It's enough. But no, I actually disagree about Bel Air. Like I think Bel Air is okay, but
I never saw it. I
I
think
would have
I
been okay
may say
without it.
on like
I would have
one.
been okay without it.
Okay, I'll give you that. I would have been okay with it. Doesn't add anything to the Fresh Prince of Bel Air or take away. But on its own, like if Bel Air would have come out and the Fresh Prince I'd never seen the Fresh Prince, I still would enjoy
Fair,
Bel Air as
fair.
its own
It's
show.
quality on its
Which is
own.
it's quality on its own, which you cannot say for a lot of reboots. It's like I don't know. Yeah, I mean they rebooted like Roseanne. It's all a whole bunch of people that have rebooted. And I'm like, we could have done all of
Same
this.
thing with Full House. They've done all like they've done it a million times.
Raven's Home.
It never works.
I,
It just
I personally
really
think it makes me think that we were lucky growing up. I know people gonna hate when we say this, but we were lucky. We were
Man,
lucky when
we
we did
were.
because we had Martin, we had Fresh Prince of Bel Air, we had the Wayans brothers, we had shows that came
We had
out
living
a different
color.
color.
And
It was
living
just it
color.
was
a
actually
different
original
world.
stuff.
Moesha,
Yeah, like
Moesha, even though they messed it up at the
the
end. But
Parkers.
Moesha,
Yeah,
the
that was a terrible.
Parkers, yeah, Full House,
where are those
Amy
Living
shows
Schumer
at?
Living
Cooper,
Single.
Hmm.
It's
Living Single.
it's funny because I think I was just talking to you, Terry,
They're
about
the
this.
best
How
shows.
right now teenagers don't have their own
Mm-mm.
shows.
They don't.
You either have the kid shows like Bluey and stuff, or you have Euphoria, which
Adult
is
stuff.
not a teenage show.
Inappropriate.
Yeah,
It's
It's
inappropriate
inappropriate.
for
I'm in between.
even though it's centered around high schoolers, it's inappropriate for a high schooler to be watching that. Let's just be real. And so it's like they don't have their own. Because even if you think about like we had outside of the black shows, we had Hannah Montana, we had Drake and
Jet
Josh,
Jackson.
Jet Jackson, Super.
Good
We
show.
had
That's
all
my
the
husband.
R.I.P. To your boy,
I'm
but
sorry
we
to hear him.
had that was my boo. I loved him so
Not
much.
too much on my man. Not too much on my
Hold on, first of all, because I had dated a boy that looked like Jet Jackson just because he had looked like Jet
He had the light
Jackson. I
eyes and
said, "You look
everything.
just like Jet."
Not
He
on my
had
man. Not too
everything.
much.
I said, "Oh, you look just like Jet Jackson." He was like, "Who is that?" I said, "You don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna date you because you look like him." But yeah, we had those shows that kind of like gave outlets and insight into, oh, these people are going through the same things I'm going through now, which is why I feel like right now we see a really huge disparity between generations. Like it's like you have kids and then you have grown up teenagers
Hmm.
because they don't have any, even Tara, you were bringing up, we don't have like the limited twos and the Macy sections for teenagers, and those we even had stores that were dedicated for teenagers to go
Right.
to find appropriate clothing. We don't have that anymore. Like they're going to Forever 21, which now is way different than when I was in college. Charlotte Russe is also different. You're like they're getting rid of all of the companies and stuff. I don't even think the limited is around anymore. So these kids are just like they're following in the steps that are paved out for them essentially. So they don't have any shows and they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have like third spots or whatever they want to call them. So I do think there is room for a show like A Different World. It just doesn't have to be a different world. Like something that shows that time frame of high school to college and even through college. And I mean, like I said, you have grownish and blackish kind of touches on it a little bit because they have kids at several different developmental stages. But it's not your own show, right? You have to like catch certain episodes that talk about that or catch certain episodes that hone in on those characters. We don't have anything that's just centered on the youth. Why don't we create that? Why don't y'all focus on creating that versus having to like reboot a show that we love but we don't need another version of or continuation of, I guess.
George, what was Like what is I know you talked about the shows you watched growing up, but did kids have like young artists that they listened to? Because like girls had B2K, we had Bow Wow, we had Lil Romeo.
Sammy.
Who did y'all listen to them too?
Yeah, like Sammy, Immature,
Sammy.
uh,
Immature.
like
I am it.
IMX. Yeah, like I mean, it was what, so for real. You know, I'm sure
So for
I'm showing my
real.
age, but you know, like uh, yeah, like I feel like there was a lane for us. Like we would go to skating rinks.
Yeah.
We had like the kid venues for us to do stuff. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And you were a weirdo if you were over a certain age and you were hanging around kids.
You were
I
a
Right.
I
weirdo.
just
People
I
were like, "What are you doing here?"
yeah.
Yeah.
I know because my daughter she's about to transition into that teeny bop tween,
Tween.
yeah,
She's a
she's
Yeah.
tween
10,
now.
so she'll soon be into that tween, and there's no space for them. Like they just either on the internet, and I'm always afraid
Yeah.
about what she's doing on the
Playing
internet. Yeah, like
games.
the
They
games
were
and
like
stuff.
just playing
Like even like the
games.
Roblox, like who are you talking to? Because she'll be on chats and they'll be talking again.
Right.
Like
It's
I want to make sure that it's
inappropriate.
all teenagers. You really can't regulate it, and then
Right.
That's so
you can't even
scary.
drop your kids off at Six Flags anymore. They fighting, they shooting.
Nope.
So
Nope.
there is
Man,
no
we used to go to Six. We lived at Six
Six Flags
Okay,
Flags.
all
okay,
day, every day.
okay. So, are there? But we had like Bieber. We had Justin. We kind of had Justin Bieber. We had like younger. Bieber was a little bit later, but like we had like young artists,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That came out at our time. Are there any young artists
For like
now?
her?
Nah, hers grown. I mean, I don't know.
Her is
No, no,
grown.
no,
I'm
no.
talking about.
For no, no. For your daughter.
Yeah, for your
Like for
daughter, like,
her.
are there any like more kiddie? Like, we had Hannah Montana, we had like these people
We had a
that
lot
were
of
like
people from
artists.
Disney.
We remember when Raven Simone had her song, and
Cheetah
baby, when she was in
Girls.
that Jeep with them little
That's you
glasses,
talking about, yes, when she had them braids. That and
she had a
even
little
cheetah and
ponytail,
even
she had a little
cheetah
ponytail with a swoop
girls.
back.
You know what I
We
think it is
had
though, and
all
it
that.
really boils down to this: kids don't watch cable TV anymore, right? And
Oh
so when kids were
yeah,
watching cable TV, there was a lane for that because people will put money into commercials. And so I remember I used to
yeah,
want every Nerf gun, everything because I was watching
yeah,
Nickelodeon, I was watching Disney. These kids today they don't watch TV. They're on their streaming
yeah.
apps, they're watching TikTok videos and stuff like
YouTube.
that.
YouTube,
So
they're on
yeah, so
YouTube.
like for them, it's like what the powers that be don't really think it's important to invest in those people that could target teenagers or to target them that
Right.
Mhm.
young group. So I think that's what it comes
Yeah.
from because my daughter literally was listening to like she listens to like Billie Eilish and she's getting into like
Oh
SZA and
Lord.
I'm like whoa, what are we
Yeah,
doing?
that's not appropriate for them.
Let's backtrack because I don't need you
It's
to
really
listen to the
not
same thing
appropriate for
I'm listening
them.
to, right? It don't make
Yeah,
no
Hmm.
sense. So I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know if there's any like kid friendly. You know what I'm saying? Like the kid, like my daughter's on a softball team, and all the girls listen to Billie Eilish. They listen to what's the Taylor Swift. They listen to Taylor Swift. That's who they listen to. They don't have
Taylor
yeah.
Swift.
They don't.
And Taylor Swift grown grown.
But Taylor
Yeah.
Swift
She big grown.
she does tailor towards younger audience.
She
Her
does,
songs are a little,
which is why
yeah.
she's so huge.
Right.
It's like
Hmm.
if I can take all my kids to your concert versus I can only take the 20-year-old or 18-year-old, you're gonna make more money because we can all go as a family
Right.
and
And
it's
they're
not
all
gonna be like
going.
inappropriate. So she's
She's
smart.
smart.
She's
Right.
not.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
a
much
lot of
so.
artists are missing out on a ton of money because they're so it's so explicit
Mm-hmm.
that I
Yeah.
could take my whole family. Okay, Michael Jackson, why was he
My
packing
mom took
out
a, yeah, Michael
seven
Jackson
7 days a week in a huge, in
was
huge venues,
appropriate.
packing them out for 7 days? Because you could take your grandma to your 5-year-old, and everybody gonna have a good time.
Everybody.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
Everybody. So yeah. Did you have a crush growing up on you? Who is your childhood crush growing up, George?
Oh
George.
man, I mean, you my like artist or just like
Just
anybody?
your like crush,
Ashanti.
like, oh, I
Ashanti.
love her. I
Nah,
want
I
her
mean,
on my
you know, it was
wall. I
It
marry
was
her.
Tatiana Ali. It was
She was beautiful.
Tatiana Ali for sure.
Kyla Pratt
Kyla
Kyla Pratt was it for
Pratt.
me.
Mm.
Like I was, and I mean,
101.
I like Raven too.
Tatiana Lee. I think we all wanted to be Tatiana Ali.
Oh
She was
yeah,
so pretty,
Man, she was so pretty and like just so
and she
nice
could
and could
sing.
sing. and she was
What was the
smart.
little song she had
I just remember
She
Will
was
and Carlton dancing in the background.
in the
she
back?
sang she sang respect. She sang
No, no, where
respect,
she
but
was
then she
like,
came out with her own
baby,
song.
wanna waste my
Oh yeah.
time.
Yes, I remember that.
A tune,
You
a
was in
real
the back.
tune.
It was
It was
good.
good.
Why you wanna
And the
waste
artists
my
were making music.
time?
They were multifaceted back then. The artists are not doing that
Yes.
anymore.
Yes, honey. And she had songs and everything. Yeah, we need to go back to that. We need to go. I think artists would do better if they just were more family friendly. I think it doesn't have to be all this extra explicit everything because I think we're missing a generation where you could be and if it's a money grab, why not make it a money grab?
Like
Why not?
kids are still consumers. It's
They're
crazy.
consumers.
Hmm.
Like
Because
why would
they're
I
going
not
to
appeal
influence
to them?
you're going to influence your parents to buy you what you want.
Right.
Right.
Buy me this music, buy me these concerts. And now more than ever, kids are asking for way more concert tickets than they were
Way
back
more.
in the day.
Hmm.
Way more. Why wouldn't I make my stuff more family friendly? Like I could put my stuff on. If I play a certain person, I could put it on and walk away, and I ain't got to worry about my kid. I know it's gonna be like
Yeah.
good. Like why wouldn't if I'm an artist and I'm about my money, as far as like bigger artists, like I would do that. That makes sense to me.
You know, people just are prideful and they just get into, and I'm not a role model. I make music, I make it how I want to make
Oh,
it. I da 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 da, and it's like this is my art, and this is what I come out with. But like, if you wanted to, you could like. Artists have been complaining about. I've heard recently, not even recently, over the last like few years, artists complaining about having to make radio friendly edits,
Hmm.
and it's like I didn't want to say that. That's so lame. That's stupid. But how are you going to get it out to people who I was probably in my 20s when I realized some of what 50 Cent was saying in his songs because it was radio edited. I never actually knew he was saying specific things in his music until I was a grown up. And I'm like, so that's what you were saying. Oh, I don't like this that
I
much
remember
no more then.
buying music from Walmart, and Walmart at the time would only sell the edited versions.
Only the edited. You had to specifically go,
You had to go.
yes, that
You
is
had to
true.
go to actual like CD shop to get like the unedited versions.
Like a
But
Best
yeah, Best Buy.
Buy
Yeah.
or
I mean, I bought stuff from Walmart, and I would always get the edited version because that's all they sold. I just
we
feel
were
like
a part of a. Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
don't. I just think that people don't like as a society we don't do enough to protect kids and keep kids innocent.
kids.
We don't do enough to keep kids innocent, keep kids kids. But that's a totally other topic on for another day.
I mean, like when I watched TikTok and I was like, the outfits going to school. Some of them was like, your kids can't wear that to school, right? They cannot have their whole belly out.
That's what I'm saying. But they
What's
wear.
happening?
But who are they looking at for the structure of what they can wear?
Right.
There's nothing that says we had the limit. We you know what I'm saying. We even had New
We
York
had
and Company,
right. We had stores you can go to buy appropriate stuff.
Right.
Not everything is kind of like
and we
inappropriate
saw
for
people
school.
in that clothing, and so it was like, oh,
Yeah,
this is fashionable. We
yeah,
feel fashioned. We
right,
can wear this, but
right.
that's not.
Yeah,
I
that's tough. That's tough for them.
yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, I'm hopefully we'll have things in the coming near future for that. I know George, as a parent, you probably are on it, making sure to kind of give those examples and what for you
Judge, like
for
I'm struggling out
her.
here.
I'm finding an uphill battle every day, y'all. Y'all pray for me. She's a great kid. She's a great kid. The world is just wicked, you know. So
That's so true. Wow, that's heavy.
mhm.
That's
Hmm.
heavy.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I
gotta do
know.
better.
Yeah, I think there's like a special grace that God has to give you to have a parent's heart
Yeah.
when you have kids, because it could keep you up at night if you don't really have a
I understand what my
foundation.
parents were dealing with, and before it was different, but now it's just like, man, you see it all the time. Like even with TikTok, TikTok was a kid app for kids, and now a whole bunch of adults have made it freaky. So I was just like, I'm just like, what's going on? I don't get it.
They was on there.
I'm like, what's going on? Like they supposed to be just dancing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Y'all weird, but I digress.
That's so funny because when people were first bringing up TikTok to me, that's what I used to think about. People were like, "You should get on TikTok so I can dance, do these dance." What y'all talking about? But it's so much more now. It's crazy. It's well, we will keep you and your family lifted.
Please,
Lift it up.
please.
Lifted up.
Now, when I put out these kid-friendly songs and family-friendly
Please
songs,
stream.
play them.
Oh, you already know
Hit the
that's
streaming button.
like you said. There's a lane that people are missing out on. There's a lane that
Yes.
people are absolutely missing out on because
Family-friendly.
yeah, I got a playlist on my phone. It's literally car with my kid, and every time he mine's in the car with me, that's the only playlist we listen to. It's all edited music. It's all like there's a certain type of subject matter we don't deal with it. And she's in the car with me.
Yeah.
That's the playlist we play because
Yeah.
you know how music is. You know what type
Which
of
is
things
great.
it can
That
be.
is so good.
So you got to make sure that you protect your kids, and that's what I do. Like she knows that's a playlist we listen to. Yeah.
So who's on that playlist? What's on the playlist?
We got the family friendly tunes. We got the Montel Jordans. We got the Wayne Wonders. You know what I'm saying? We got some edited rap songs, but they're all like edited to the T. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, we got stuff like that. I give her a good mix of the culture, but it's none of the suggestive stuff. It's all clean.
No
It's
Nas
so
ether.
crazy
Yeah.
because when I was on the cruise, I just went on a cruise with my family. Shout out to Carnival. I had the time of my life.
Yeah, I want to
We had
sponsor. Reach
we
out
had
to
a
us.
time. Okay, we had a time. And they had these parties, right?
Yep.
Like these 90 party, 80 party, blah, 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 or just like boat party, deck party, all this. They're still playing Whitney Houston. Whoever is running the estate is making bank. They are still playing Whitney Houston. They're still playing Michael Jackson. They're still playing Prince. They're still playing these songs that are like, if you think about it now, they're 30 years old, 20 years old, 35 years old. And the crowd is going crazy.
Rocking with it.
The
music
I
is
can
the
believe
The
that.
kids are singing it. You're 7. How do you know Whitney Houston? She recorded that 25, 30 years ago. They're still singing these songs because they're family friendly. How will I know if he like it's still family friendly, kid. It's not bad songs, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like the fact that we have to play music that's 30 years old because it's not enough music that's coming out that's family friendly goes to show you that there's a lane missing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can agree with that. We know the music our parents used to play growing up, and even us in college and stuff. And you say like rap, because you and I, George, we connected on rap in college. That was like a really heavy thing, like we would talk about. And I'm even thinking about it then, and I sound, just sound so. I feel like I sound so old when I say I'm thinking about it then versus the rap now, and I'm like it's not the same. It's not the same rap.
It was in hindsight. The music we listened to was pretty bad too back then, but
it was bad and it was explicit. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It was definitely explicit. Like we had edited. My siblings, trash people. They were listening to unedited things in the car. I was listening to a numerous amount of things that I should not. My virgin ear should never have been a privy to. But even
But at
now,
least we had R&B. We had like Jagged
R&B.
Like My Life
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. We had like R&B crossovers with hip hop a lot more. We had a lot more like metaphorical speaking versus just straight on.
Yeah.
Like, Lil' Kim was like, you can slide on my ice like the Escapade, but she wasn't saying Pound Town. I mean, we knew what she was talking about, but we knew that it was a metaphor.
You still had to use your
You
imagination.
had to use your. I didn't know what the sliding on the ice of the Escapade. I didn't know what that meant. What is that? So yeah, I didn't know what busted through the door with the. I didn't know what some of these things meant, but I mean, none of it's good. But it just seems so in your face now.
I will agree with that.
It just seems so like, hey, this is it now.
Trust me, and the kids know. My daughter's 10. She knows who Ice Spice is. She knows
Mm-hmm.
who Sexy Red is. She knows. She knows who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that she know enough not to also be singing it around me. So
Oh yeah.
so
She know that Nigeria. She not gonna get popped. Not like
But
that.
even Ice Spice was made to be kiddie, but not.
right.
It was like she appealed to kids, but her content was not
This is what I don't like,
actually
cause
appropriate.
cause I agree. I don't. You can do what you want to do. What I don't like is that kind of like mixing. So where you have like videos, but it's like toyish or kiddish, or you
Right.
have
But
like
it's
your
really not appropriate.
Right.
it's not for children. What
Mm-hmm.
are we doing? Why are we mixing these things
That
as
feels
if they should
intentional
be?
and insidious to me.
It's absolutely
Yeah.
intentional.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's like the drugs that look like candy.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you make a drug look like candy?
Right.
Like, this is gonna mess somebody up.
Yeah. They know what they're doing. Yeah. They
Yeah,
know what they're
for
doing.
sure.
Yeah. Well, we can go on and
Pray for
on
the
with
babies.
our elder banter. Pray for the babies. We believe the children are the future, as Whitney said. We can end it with I I saw this and I thought it would be an interesting question to ask. What felt like a punishment as a kid, but it's now kind of considered like a luxury to you?
Who want to go first?
You go first.
Going to sleep. Oh my goodness. When my mom used to tell me to go to sleep, I used to be so mad. I'd be fighting it. Like, why don't I want to go to sleep? Now, please. Sleep, please. Someone tell me where I can lay down. I'm tired.
A
I'm
nap.
I wish I could take naps still. Like I remember how angry I used to be at naps during the middle of the day at school. I wish. I wish I could take a nap. I wish we had a dedicated recess time. I need all of that. So that is the biggest thing. I wish that I could be told it's time to go to bed, go to bed. Like 10 o'clock, it's time to go to bed. Like we need that. My daughter right now always complain, I don't want to go to sleep. Like you will one day. You will.
You will one day.
You,
One of these days,
autumn
you gonna
hours.
wish.
Autumn hours, it adds up. So yeah, that's one thing that my parents used to punch me with going to sleep. Now, point me to the first bed. I'm going to sleep.
I agree. I think I was a child that would fight sleep a lot, as so my parents would say. I guess I always had this kind of fear of missing out on something. I don't know why I used to fight sleep, but I would fight sleep so much to 2 points at certain points when I was really, really young where I would have to they would just let me cry myself to sleep. But now, if you tell me go to your room, go to sleep, like point me to the bed. Where's the blanket? Give me the pillow. I'm down for it. I really wish adult naps could be implemented into your day. Like, just give me a good 30 minutes, 45 minutes to myself to just lay down, rest my eyes. I definitely feel. And also, I used to think that scheduled feeding times, I'm like, I'm not hungry. Why you want me to eat dinner? Or you making me dinner? But please make me my meals now because I have to feed myself. And I don't understand. You expect me to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner and have a civilized life and drink water and work out and have a social life and really be successful. And I don't understand. Now I see why, and I ain't gonna hold y'all. When I get some money, know it now. I'm gonna outsource stuff. I'm gonna have a chef.
Got
I'm
to.
gonna have people doing my laundry because you just really don't be having the time for it when you're doing things. And I get why celebrities and people who got the money outsource because you just gotta disparage your time wisely. And so, baby, when I get to it, yeah, I like cooking, but I ain't gonna be cooking on a regular basis. Believe that.
Hmm. I would say for me, I have a couple. I would say I remember it feeling like a punishment when my mom was like, "Go get in the tub, go get in the tub, go take your bath." Now I'm like, I get to take a bath today and just relax. Not a shower. I gotta hurry up, but just like sit in the tub and just
Oh yeah.
turn my little music on and da da da. Da. That's like bath, just really just relaxing. So that's like a luxury now. Also, I would say leaving events early. It was like a punishment. Oh, if you don't act right, we finna leave. And it's like, oh, please don't let us leave. No, we ready to go.
You ready
You
to
want
go?
to leave? Is you ready? You want to leave? I want to. I'll meet you. Yeah, let's get out of here. And like staying home. If you gonna have to stay in the house, you on punishment. You couldn't leave the house. Now it's like, man, no, I'm not leaving the house. I'm just not leaving. I don't want to leave. So all of those things.
I definitely agree with that. You used to be on
Everyone.
punishment and see your friends outside playing. You'd be like, "Oh, this is the worst
Oh
thing
my
ever." And
god.
now I'll be on Instagram seeing my friends outside, and I'm like, "Good for you,
Mm.
girl. You having a
Yeah.
good time.
Have
I
a
hope
have
you
a
have a
time.
ball." I'm sitting
Oh,
right here
that's
on the
cute.
couch.
You
That
look
is
cute,
so cute.
girl.
And go off. You look so good. Yeah, and right from my couch because I'm
Right.
very much so satisfied being at
Right.
home. I have taken on the attributes of being appreciative of my whole apartment that I pay an exorbitant
You
amount of
have
rent
to.
for. I have started standing in random corners. Oh, this square inch don't get enough love. Let me just stand over here real quick because I pay for this square inch. I just need to stand here for a minute so that
Join
I am getting my money's worth. I lay different places. Let me just lay here real quick
me.
because I just really feel like I lay in my bed so much. Let me just make sure I'm getting my money's worth. Ain't nobody got time for that. It's just too
I
much.
saw a meme that said millennials skip straight to like older hobbies like
Absolutely.
gardening
I
and
am a
taking care of
plant
your
mother.
lawn.
Absolutely.
I have an affinity for like I be looking at lighting. I go to like Lowe's sometimes and I just be looking at fixtures.
Yes,
I'm
child.
like looking at
Home
stuff. I
decor.
have plants all over my house. I be doing puzzles. And I'm happy.
Yeah, it was funny because it was like, why are millennials minimalists? And then it went back to how we grew up, and it was like all of these chalk sheets and all these little compact and like just
Knickknacks.
clutter everywhere. And it was like, this is why we're minimalists because we were overwhelmed with the curio with 12 different types of plates in there that don't nobody
Because
use, and it's
why
wood
are we
everywhere.
not
It is.
why are we not use first of all, why are we not using anything in this energy? And why is this room untouchable? You have a
Untouchable
couch.
with plastic on couches
There is a couch and two chairs in here, and we cannot sit in this.
Can't
Why?
don't even breathe in that room.
and we had to have runners with plastic runners to keep the. It was like,
Do you
yo,
remember
it's
when that runner would
plastic
get
everywhere.
turned
It's
upside down and you accidentally
uncomfortable.
stepped on it? That was the worst pain ever. If that
It
When
runner,
was
it
so
flipped
if that plastic runner got flipped over and you stepped on it, you thought that you was dying.
over.
You thought that you had stabbed your
you
foot
may as
through.
well you may as well be stepping on a cleat,
Yeah,
an
yeah.
Baby,
actual cleat, because I'm trying to tell. And then you have all. Then we gotta vacuum all of it. It's just too
don't fall asleep
much.
on your grandmother's couch with that plastic on
You'll get
her.
stuck.
Child, you stuck.
Stuck.
First of all, why do you have a recliner that you don't want us to relax in? So we just
Off limits.
can never put the
It's
recliner
off
back and
limits.
actually relax. You don't want it to break. Oh, the
This is
battery
why
gonna
we're
go out.
minimalists because y'all had clocks, y'all had jumbo wooden spoons,
China,
pictures of Jesus and JFK, and all
and
kinds
now
of stuff
pictures
on
of
the walls. We
Obama.
don't want it.
Y'all got pictures. Y'all got clippings of Obama from an inauguration you never went to. JFK from
Martin
an
Luther
assassination
King,
you never saw. Martin Luther King for a man you never
black
marched
or
with.
white Jesus.
Black Jesus
The whole
in
nativity scene, the
there.
whole black nativity scene.
Oh my
I'm like, my
gosh.
Is
mom.
there anything
Go ahead.
with African households that's like that's like a Nigerian that everybody had in their home as
Oh
a
my
Nigerian
lord, we
household?
had. I don't know. I think everybody had these. We had like that Wiccan spears on the wall. It was like a woven spear that we had on the wall. Every African I knew had that, and every African I knew in the '90s had beads on their door. I don't know what that was.
Bees! My
Oh my
grandmother had
God,
bees.
we
We had
had
to put the
bees.
part of the bee.
My grandmother had bees. The devil.
I don't know. I don't know what fashion that was. Everybody had the woven spear on the wall and the beads on the door. That was everybody. Literally,
Woo!
literally. That
I,
was your house wasn't complete without that.
Period. And see the reason why I can still look in the mirror sometimes now because I grew up we had a wall of mirrors. That was like the whole
Yeah.
thing. Like the whole wall was mirrors. And my husband be like, "Why you look in the mirror when you cry?" Because the mirror right there. Where else am I supposed to look? I got to see.
Oh man.
Yeah, a whole wall of mirrors. So yeah, it was like a thing. But that is why we are the way we are to this day.
I
Don't
can't
we?
imagine having a bees in your door now. Like I don't know what that was for.
Don't get tangled. Don't be chasing somebody trying to run through these.
I knocked down. Me and my siblings have knocked down a few of the bees, and we got in
Oh,
trouble
you get
for knocking
whooped.
them
You get
down.
whooped. What you doing all that running for?
we
Not
had.
them,
They took it a step further. Had bees as seat covers in their car.
baby.
That's
Too
that's real
much.
Caribbean.
my dad had a beaded seat cover in his
That's real
car.
Caribbean. That's real Caribbean. My
And the
goodness.
crazy part was he only had it in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
So you saying that nobody else need comfort in the car? You think it's comfortable? Nobody else need it? Okay, cool.
Baby. It's
Got
too
it.
much.
Beads everywhere. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. A wooden spear. I don't even know. We had these my parents before I was born had gone to South Africa and brought back these huge African statuettes masks that they put on the wall, and my siblings used to terrify me with them. When I tell you, they would take it off the wall and turn the lights off and chase me around the
These are so
house.
terrible.
It don't even. It's why are your siblings doing this to you? It's so crazy. I could not. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Yes. So I agree. I think a lot of us are minimalist now because thankfully I will say I don't that we my parents did have clutter, but I've seen worse.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially my grandparents. Yeah. So
My
I
mom
definitely.
used to keep newspapers, and I was like, I don't know why, but I
For
mean,
what?
Magazines, ebony magazines stacked up to
In
here.
the bathroom.
Jet magazines. Yeah,
I'm,
stacked
For
up.
what? TV guides?
there
TV
was a time
guide.
and place where we had literally a whole wall of DVDs and videos. Like that was like the thing you had. Yeah, you know, at entertainment wall with the VCR and the DVD player, and we
Oh.
had all these
But
videos, DVDs on the wall. And I'm just so glad we don't have that anymore because it was crazy.
yeah, but to be fair, they didn't have a choice. We have
Yeah,
streaming and we have, programs. So that takes care of all of
that
that.
does. Thank God.
Digitally. It's completely digital. Yeah, for sure.
My parents, my mom still has all of a majority of my Disney collected VHSs. I have a lot of Disney VHSs. Like I used to get them as gifts because I really loved watching film. I still do. And so I have like a ton of Disney VHSs at her house that it's just like one day I'll get it. I got my DVDs and stuff. We'll see. That's a lot. I don't have a VH8. I don't have a VCR. I could buy one. They sell them
No,
at
you
like
can't.
Goodwill.
You know you cannot.
They sell them at like Goodwill. They are like thrift store. I could thrift one. Let me say that. I can thrift one if I really want to find one. But
They got those companies now that will convert your VHSs into digital stuff too. So
I saw that.
mm,
But I feel like it's just a nostalgia with having it. And the covers used to be so fun. And I remember opening them. Yeah. Oh, gosh. What a
what a
time.
time.
So,
Time to be alive.
as I said earlier, this is the 100th episode, which is why you are getting a glimpse into a larger friendship circle of the Friendship University podcast. And I'm so thankful that George agreed to be on this because I think the conversation we're going to get into is going to be great. But before we get into that, and true FU podcast theme, we are going to do a 100 episode challenge. So, what we are doing is a 100-day challenge. And so, we are encouraging all of our listeners, all of our supporters to, over the next 100 days, do one single thing that gets you closer to one of your goals.
Mm.
just improve yourself and study. Like, think of yourself as a test, right? What does it look like if you wanted to get 100% on that test? What do you need to study? What do you need to focus on? What are the areas of opportunity? What do you already have strength in? Different things like that. Just like, think about that, and over the next 100 days, do one thing, and we want you to share your journey with us and tag us along the way. We'll be doing I know myself and Tarrah will be doing this along with you. George, you are so welcome to join if
Definitely.
you feel like, yeah. I just really, this whole podcast is about thinking and encouraging people to understand that people are our greatest resource, right? And in people being the greatest resource, we want you to be a good resource. We want you to be good soil to the people you come into contact with. And so we really believe that your goals and bettering yourself is worth the time, and it's worth the effort to do it. So yeah, I really want to encourage all of you all. We don't have a hashtag right now, but just tag us on all social platforms. We're at Funny Podcast everywhere, and it'll be in the description box. But as you are bettering yourself every single day, that one thing, we would love to be there and encourage you along the way. 100 days is no small feat. And so understand that you don't have to be in this alone. We are with you. We are here to encourage you. We are hoping that just as we do, you make it to the finish line. So, you all have anything to add to that? Any thoughts?
That's just a great
No.
challenge.
What is your thing gonna be, Chris?
Um, I have, by the time this episode comes out, I will have decided. I'm not too sure now, but what I did think about was, I think a good place to start for a lot of people is to look at your algorithm. Look at what you're spending your time looking at and focusing on and taking in to your atmosphere, right? And so if you have, let's say, a goal of being more patient, and your video and what's on your algorithm is not aligning with that, because your algorithm really does know you. It has studied you over time of what you like, dislike, what you engage with, what you don't engage with. And so if it's not falling into alignment with that, maybe start looking for things that fall into alignment with that. Or if it's the adverse of that, right? Like, let's say your goal would be to lose weight, and you have a ton of videos about working out. You have a ton of workout plans and meal prepping, but you've never implemented them. Now we're encouraging you, it's the time to start. Go look at that and start doing that every single day, right? Waking up and saying, hey, today maybe I'll walk for 30 minutes, or today maybe, hey, I won't go to Starbucks and get that double frap, macchiato, or whatever. I'm speaking like I don't know coffee, but you're not going to get this, caramel frappuccino with extra caramel drizzle and an extra pump of vanilla and all of these things that don't fall into alignment with it. So for me, I think I really want to focus on follow through. That is something that I have been consistently working on since the dawn of time. And so I really want to, even though I do follow through in a lot of things, I have a lack of discipline in others. And so maybe discipline would be what I focus on, right? Discipline to have the follow through in specific things that I haven't been able to. By the time this episode comes out, I will have had that, and I will share that. Oh, you got input? What you want to say? What you doing? What you got to say to the people? What's going to be your goal? Barking? Not barking? Let them know. It's fine. But
Sorry about
yeah, so
that.
by the time you're fine. By the time this episode comes out, I would have decided that, and you all will see it on social media, because I'm going to be definitely very transparent in what my journey is going to be over these next 100 days. But I've just been thinking about a couple of things: patience, discipline, follow through, all kind of stuff, and how I can gauge that, right? Because another huge factor of it for a lot of people will be, how do I know that I am getting better? So that's why I also brought up looking at your algorithm and making sure that things that you're spending time on looking at, fall into alignment with it. And maybe your goal is to not be on social media as much. So, and when you're on social media, it's for a purpose. It's to promote something. It's to gain information. It's to put information out there. Uh, Certain phones have certain capabilities now where you can monitor your usage and just different things like that. So let us know what you all are hoping to accomplish and do over these next 100 days. But just one small thing, which it can be small or big, honestly, but one thing that helps in that progression towards being better.
Do you have a George? Do you have a thing that came up for you? Like, man, I would pick this.
It's actually funny because I've been thinking about small ways to just improve, and I wasn't, thinking about the challenge. I didn't know what the challenge was, but hearing Chris talk about it, I was like, okay, this is something that I've been saying I've been trying to do, but I've been struggling about being consistent. Just getting my steps in. I like to try to get things down to the most like simple, basic element of it, because if I start getting too big, I get overwhelmed by the objective. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I was saying
yeah.
that. Hmm.
So I was telling myself like, hey, I want to be more healthy. I want to focus on
Hmm.
my health. So what I'm gonna do? I've set a goal for myself to get 10,000 steps in every day. But even that,
That's awesome.
that's like, well, 10,000 steps. How do I achieve that? If I just, you just heard my dog. If I just walk my dog for a 30-minute walk twice a day, I'll probably will hit that goal every day. So,
Oh, that's
yeah, so
awesome.
taking my maybe my 10-minute walk and stretching it out for 30 minutes, once in the morning and once in the evening, will help me hit those goals. And so, like that, if I can just tell myself like just do that for 100 days and see what happens, I think it'll get me that much further to my ultimate goal. And so that's what I've been
Hmm.
doing is like stop taking these large goals and saying, oh, I want to lose X amount of weight, or I want to do blah 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 blah. I want to make this X amount of money, and start looking at a very like small goal that you feel is obtainable, and then going from there. So that my goal has been just to take 10,000 steps a day.
I love
Hmm.
that. I love that. That's like a perfect goal for this type of challenge. And I was telling Chris, I was like, man, I can be so overwhelmed. I feel like so easily. Unfortunately, like I can bite off more than I like to sometimes. And so I'm just learning myself that if I set these really little obtainable goals, it helps me build momentum.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, that works for me. This little one, if I can focus, because like we can be easily distracted, if I can focus on one thing and just make that, okay, did you do this one thing today? It works for me. Like for instance, I've been finding that I fast until I really don't eat until about 4, and I usually eat. As of late, I've been eating like one meal, so at least like 4 days a week, I won't eat until about 4. I actually physically eat. Maybe I might drink some waters or drink maybe like a juice or something, but I don't physically eat. And it's like for me that just works. I lose weight, like I don't have a problem. It's like what is that called? What is it called? Some fasting?
Intermittent.
Intermittent
Intermittent,
fasting.
intermittent fasting.
Hmm.
I mean, I can easily not. And then I'll go extensions where it's like I really want to be pescatarian,
Hmm.
truly. And I already don't eat beef and don't eat pork. So, but sometimes I eat chicken, but I really want to be pescatarian. So for me, that's like a good thing if I can just go and not eat chicken. And it's like, that's one thing I could do. I know my body responds very well to it. I don't have to like work to do all this stuff to
Right.
drop weight. It's like my body will automatically do it if I do these couple things like fast or eat them. But I think what came up for me for the one thing was like, okay, musically, I just want to work on myself, and if I do something, one thing musical every day, whether that's practice, which it should be practice, that should be my one thing, or study somehow, then I feel like that I'm accomplishing what I need to do. So I think my one thing is going to be music and practice, some kind of practice or study of my craft.
That's going to be amazing. I have a theory that we talk a lot about the abuse that the Jackson family went through, like Michael Jackson, his siblings, like like physical abuse, quote unquote, because I don't know, I wasn't there. But I think some of it, if not a majority of it, was actually just the pushing of them having to practice every day, which could be focused, which lends
on your craft.
itself to the 10,000 hour theory, right?
10,000
the
hour for sure.
you do something, the better you become at it. And so we think about someone like Michael Jackson, who from a child, a literal, like almost a little older than a toddler, was doing this practice of dancing and singing and performing every single day for multiple hours a day, and then we see him as the greatest of all time. There has to be a linkage there to the fact that he lent himself, whether willingly or unwillingly, to it every single day. So
by 30, he was a expert 3 times over. You know, so 10 years, 10,000 hours, approximately 10 years to become an expert. By the time he was 35, he was an expert by times 3. So who's an expert times 3 that you know doing anything? Most people aren't, you know? So, yeah.
I love that. I love those. I can't wait to see you all joining in and tagging us in your journey every single day to get a little better. Like I said, I'm still kind of thinking about where it falls in for me with the follow through and the diligence and the discipline. Because when it comes to the time and the money, your girl would do it. But there are certain areas that I can definitely be stronger in. So I'm going to be thinking about that over the next couple of days, and I cannot wait to share it with our community as we go into this challenge. So 100-day challenge. Get it in your minds, people, for the next 100 days. And you want to know what the funny part about that is? It's not to the end of the year. No. We have more than 100 days left in this year. So before December 31st, you could have spent 100 days bettering yourself. And by the time January rolls around and you're making those goals and you're trying to start the year off strong, you're already strong. Because for the last 100 days, you've been doing it. You've been doing something to better yourself. You've been doing something to set yourself closer to your goals. Really, so think about this as a head start, right? If we are in an Olympic sprint, you are passing yourself the baton over these next 100 days. Giving it, and getting more momentum to win the race. So I cannot wait. We cannot wait to hear what you guys are going to bring as your offerings to this challenge. So super excited that you all are willing to join it with us. I know I sprung this on you, George. I'm so glad that you decided to join it with us. Absolutely. Get your steps in. Step by step. Day by day. So
I feel like you used to sing that in Watson.
Absolutely. We suck a lot. Me and George was watching Oprah in Watson. You remember that, George?
I mean, listen, I would just be doing whatever you wanted to do.
I had George watching Oprah.
And it was cell block. It looked like jail up in Watson, okay? But it was better than Johnson. Y'all had it bad.
Hold your horses.
Johnson was not.
You ain't gonna talk bad about Johnson.
It was rough.
Johnson was terrible.
Johnson looked better than Johnson.
Y'all was breathing on each other.
Johnson would. First of all, I had a room to myself.
When did Brittany move into your room? Did y'all share a room?
Brittany was with that.
Oh yeah, you did have a room to yourself with that.
Brittany was with
girl
that
with the mushrooms. Not.
I said, okay, so this is where we're going. With that girl.
Oh, you did have your own room because you was upstairs. You was upstairs.
I was upstairs because I was supposed to be, because I had missed out. It was my own. It's a whole story. Being I was a 1908 scholar, so I was supposed to be in the newer dorms, the Millennium dorms that was across the street, but I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Discipline! Follow through. Just don't do what you're supposed to. From the beginning, y'all. This ain't nothing new to this. I don't want to be true to this. But yes, So I had my own room, and then did you have a roommate, Tara?
I did. You don't remember my roommate?
Was that the one that was complaining about you singing?
No, the
No,
dark skinned
no.
girl. What was her name?
Mm-hmm.
Start with an S.
Mm-mm. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put this girl name out on the internet.
I don't remember.
That's
I remember.
rude. She'll be
Cause
like,
y'all was both the same height. Y'all was both the Twin Towers.
no,
Yeah.
she was taller than me.
Oh,
She was taller than
oh
me.
yeah, but I say she was taller than you.
Oh, I think
She
I
was
know who
taller
you're
than me.
talking
Yeah.
We
about.
were
She
both tall, but she was taller
was.
than
She
Y'all
me.
was
was
both some Twin
taller.
Towers. That's
She was a little intimidating. She was a little intimidating, just a little bit.
she was fed up with
Watson wasn't
she
that
was fed up with
great.
all that Tara, all that singing she was doing.
Let me tell you something. Tara was not a man. People loved her singing,
Of course.
but then people had to be like, they left that note on the shower. They said, "Oh my God, you have such a beautiful voice," but not at 6 a.m.
They, they didn't have the joy within them. They didn't have the joy within them. That's all it is.
At 6
Listen,
a.m., she would be giving the business to the angels in the sky. She said, a rock will not cry out in my place. I'm going to give the Lord his
listen,
dutiful
it's
joy.
very hard when you're. This is very difficult when you are a singer and you have no place where you can
Yeah, you
sing.
need that outlet.
It's very hard to like have nowhere where you can go and just practice in your art, like really sing.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I was a full blown grown adult and I lived on my own at like 23 or 22 that I could just really sing and get better at my craft, like because I had the time to work stuff out. And as a singer, it's like it's like training muscle groups. Like you have all these
It's true.
muscles in your voice and your face, how you move your face determines how a sound comes out, your embouchure, all of that. And if you're self-taught, you have to figure that out. You understand what I'm saying? By like watching, by like listening. And if you don't have anywhere where you can just kind of figure it out, like you're not gonna get as good unless you grew up in a singing family, and then you can just kind of like watch your parents or watch your siblings. But I didn't grow up. Nobody in my family sang, so everything I had to learn how to figure out. So it was just like hard to do when you're like you're offending everyone. Like I'm at home, shut up, you're singing too loud. I'm at college, shut up. I'm at Hey, you move out. I'm at my sister's house. Ah, shut up! You're singing too loud. So it's finally as an adult, I can like sing and practice and play whenever I want to. So I'm grateful for that.
That's
We
beautiful,
can't silence
actually.
you. And,
They can't.
and you're a beautiful
So,
singer.
oh, thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yes, you could
Keep
sing.
going. I'm like, man, I'm really improving. Like the other day, I was like, man, I feel like my voice is really improving because you can sing. You can actually practice and like figure things out. So
I don't think people constitute you talent. Natural God-given talent also has to be nurtured.
Absolutely.
your
100%.
Absolutely.
your favorite singers, your favorite painters, your favorite writers, all of these people took the time to also study the craft and become better at it. They didn't just wake up and make your favorite movie. They didn't just
Yeah.
wake up and make your favorite song. They didn't just wake up and you see your favorite photograph from
Yeah.
someone. Like they have studied and practiced. And so I think it's really important for everyone to have the environment and the atmosphere
For
to be
sure.
able to do that for sure.
For sure.
Um,
And honestly, it takes a lot longer if you don't have like teachers that do what
mm,
you don't have teachers that are what you want to be. So like if you didn't grow up in a musical family or you don't have
mhm,
vocal teachers, like I've had a couple vocal teachers, but they didn't really teach me what I really needed to know. I had to figure it out by
Hmm.
the grace of God. Like I had to figure out, even now I'm like, I've been on tour, I've been overseas and sang and was losing my voice because I didn't know what I was doing vocally. So it just took a long time. I've been singing since I was like 15. I'm in my 30s now. It took a long time for me to figure out what works for me.
I'm
You know.
sorry, y'all. I got plants and there was a fly. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well,
But
works for me.
yes,
So, but
I was
you can
wondering where you
apply
went.
that to anything.
tried to embarrass me, but I'm back.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
Uh-huh.
It's that same fly. You can apply that to anything. That you're either gonna get a coach or you're gonna just really study YouTube University and try to figure it
Right,
out. So
100%.
I think that's a really great call out too. If you don't have the mentors or the teachers or stuff,
yeah,
you you really don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Like, and that's why you really can't pay attention to internet trolls because they really don't know.
yeah.
You don't know what goes on to make certain things happen on the back end. So you come from a place of what it should look like from a consumer when a producer, someone who produces the product, sees all kind of stuff that you would just never see. And I'm sure, George, you have probably experienced this as a lawyer, and people come to you and be like, well, you just do the law. I am doing the law. I actually am trying to do it. You just don't understand what's happening on the back end for sure.
No, I think it's so funny because I think about it like this. Like, when I was going into it and I wanted to be a lawyer, I didn't know any lawyers. Like, I don't know if that's
Mm,
common for people. I knew one. My family had one attorney, and he was this white man that helped us with our house. We had issue with our house and stuff like that, and he was like my kind of my mentor, but I didn't really know him, right? He helped in the fact that he would write my letter of recommendation. But when I got to law school, and this is a real tangible experience that I realized, I remember I had befriended a guy and we were reading these cases, right? We would read case law all the time, stories of cases and stuff like that. And I'm reading a case that was from Georgia, and I'm talking to him and I'm laughing. I'm like, yo, you know what's crazy? This judge has your same last name. He had a very interesting last name. And he looked over, he's like, oh yeah, that's my dad.
What?
I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, that's my dad.
Wow.
That's my dad.
And this was
He's another law student. Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah. It was. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Of course.
All right.
So like,
Yeah.
for me, it's like they all came from families with lawyers, and they had like this level
right.
of understanding that I just like. That first year of law school was just like my brain being completely turned inside out because like the way that they think, the way that they argue is just different. You see stuff on TV, but it's not how it is at all. They really have to really break you down and change the way your thought process is, right?
Mhm,
The people who got it just got it. They knew going to, oh, I'm about to do this. I'm about to do my 1L year. I'm about to get this internship. I'm about to join this organization so I can make sure I'm on law review. I didn't know anything about this stuff.
Wow.
You understand? So like it was just like, okay, you go through the growing pains. That's my testimony. That's my story. But it's so funny because Imani, my daughter, she says she wants to be a lawyer. She's like, oh, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. She says
mhm.
right now, and the things that we do now, she gonna be a beast. If she wants to
Beast.
go, if she wants to go that route, she wants to be there because she lives in the house with two lawyers, me and Christy.
Mhm,
And so she asks her about being a lawyer. She asks me about being a lawyer. She hears it. She hears the lingo. She knows the things, and she getting experience that I never would get. Right. So I
mhm,
was like, it's a good thing. That's why I mean I'm fortunate. I'm grateful for the opportunity to give that and pass that down to my kid, so she can be one of them
mhm,
kids back, 20 years from now or 15 years from now, and be like, oh yeah, that's my dad. Yeah, that's his name.
That's
I
Yeah.
crazy.
cannot wait for that. I'm a proponent for nepotism. I don't care. Say what you got to say. My babies will be products of nepotism. I don't care. You can say whatever you want to say. What the heck did I work this hard for
Right.
to not be able to pass it down to them? And that's so great because she's also seeing you as her dad, which is like, for a little girl, you're their idol for Lord knows however long. And then she gets this bonus mom who also she's seeing representation as a black woman and I can do this. So I love that and keep keep nurturing her into that for sure. I can't wait to see her. Hopefully I never need any assistance from you. Either of you. But if I do, I'll cap you in your back
It's
pocket.
better to have it than not need it, right?
Absolutely
Yeah.
better to
That
have
part.
it than not need it. So I thought it would be really good for us to come together and really talk about as we all have kind of grown up together kind of, in our friendships together and our friendships with other people have changed and evolved. I really thought it would be a good topic for the 100th episode to talk about the evolution of friendship and how your friendships have evolved over time. I mean, Tarrah, you're an entrepreneur, you're an artist, you are a purveyor of all things love and beauty and all kind of stuff. George, you're a father, you're a lawyer, you're a Atlanta sports enthusiast, which I know has to be mentally draining all the time.
You can't win. You
So
can't win at
like,
everything, right?
yeah,
Keeps me
but
humble.
nobody wins anything there. So I just thought it would really be good to talk about how we have seen our friendships evolved as we have grown and become the adults now that we are. You know, we didn't really heavily think about, well, I can't say we. I didn't heavily think about this in college, you know. I knew I was going to grow up. I knew that I was going to have this life, but I really didn't imagine what it would look like to continue to have connections with people or build new connections. So, how have your friendships evolved as you think about them from being that young adult in college to now?
Who wants to go first?
Anybody feel free.
Yeah,
Me? You want me to go
sure.
first?
Anybody feel free to jump
Okay,
in.
I'll go first. I would say number one, I think, uh, of course, your circle gets smaller as you get older. You get more laser focused on like who you are and what your standards are, what you're not. So that circle just, I think, by default becomes smaller because it's less. And as you move away or you move and things happen or you get married and all these different things, this by default because people their priorities or values might change. You have some people that like want to live the party lifestyle until they're 50, and then you have some people that are like, oh, I'm going to be a family person, or I want to get married. Or you have some people, whatever, whatever. So by default, I think that based on your values, things can kind of filter people out by default. And so I just noticed that there are some people that no matter the season, they were just always there, and I always just felt like we connected in any season of my life. So and I just this mutual respect and this mutual love that like no matter what happens, like I'm gonna be your friend and I'm gonna be here for you. And I think you might get two or three of them in your life, maybe. You know what I'm saying? If you got five, six, seven, wow, you're super blessed. But I think people that are just gonna be there through any season and
So
like
they're
in love,
rare.
huh?
They're rare.
Rare.
Yeah.
And I think the older you get, the more you understand how rare that is because people filter themselves out, and then the more you appreciate it, and then the more you're like, man, and you just expectations change. It's like, no, I may not talk to you every single day. Maybe that goes from talking to every day to like talking once a week or once every 2 weeks. But no matter what, it's just like this mutual respect. Like I love you, I got your back. No matter what. So I think of course the number gets smaller, and of course it gets a little clearer, and I think it becomes more focused. So my friendships are very much focused and are very much based on um, common goals and common standards. It's hard to be friends with somebody y'all don't have the same standards. It's like you feel like cussing me out is okay and I don't. It's like we're not gonna be friends if like you want to cuss me out every other month and I don't feel like cussing me out is okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like we gotta be in the same kind of flow. Or if I'm like, girl, pray for me, and you don't believe in prayer, it's just like it's going stuff gonna start falling off. So I just came to realize that my circle got a lot smaller. I was okay with that, and everybody don't have to be your friend. That some people are associates, some
We
people
got to
are
start using the appropriate language.
yeah, some people are associate because when I use the wrong language, then I have wrong expectations. If I call you my
Mhm.
friend, I believe you got my back. You're gonna be there.
Mhm.
You're the family I chose for myself. You know what I'm saying? But if you're an associate, it's like, oh, we might work on a project together. Cool. Like I'm here for you for certain things. But if you're my friend, we're like to me, you're like a part of my family that I chose from you. So yeah, just understanding that and holding different expectations. It's like as you get older, you have different expectations. People, we grown. People got bills. People got kids, dogs, partners. All this type of stuff. I don't expect you to be on the phone with me all day. Like I just like that's inappropriate. Or dropping everything for me unless it's like a real emergency. You finna you on your you finna like lose
Life or
it,
death. Yeah.
life or death. And no, I can't just drop everything for you. So I think as we get older, you become more understanding, you become more empathetic. For me, I became more appreciative of the fewer relationships and more quality over quantity. I think as I was younger, it was more about, oh, I'm popular, got all these friends, all these be my friends. But as I got older, it was like, no, quality. You might have fewer friends, but they're like yo people, like they holding you down. So that's my thoughts.
George, what about you?
Nah, just to piggyback, everything Tara just said is absolutely the case, and you see it. It's you see it, and I think like going and transitioning from, especially having that college life where everybody was so close and it was just easy access. You could just walk down the
Yeah.
street and see your best friend, and you could spend every day with them. And to now we're out there in the world and we're trying to make it, trying to figure things out. I've learned to be a little bit more have extend more grace, especially in
Mm-hmm.
that I'm trying to figure my situation out, and I understand that people are going through the same exercise as well. They're going through the same exercise of trying to get in where they fit in, trying to navigate this thing called life. So like for me, I try to just appreciate the friendships, appreciate them for what they are and what they were, and whatever they will become in the future. If
Yeah.
I love you, and those things won't ever change. But like Tara said,
Yeah.
friendships change, and sometimes you have to reclassify them. And I used to deal with that, and it used to be kind of painful for me when I'm like, man, like we
Mm-hmm.
used to be like this, we used to be locked in, and then
Mm-hmm.
people go through things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the main. Obviously, like I came out of college and had a kid like almost immediately, so life happens. So
Mm-hmm.
I've learned to have extend grace, to be appreciative of the times and moments that I have with my
Yes.
people. However they
Yeah.
come, whichever way they come. I just
Yeah.
because I get it. I 100% get it. So my friendships, they evolve just like everything else in life. They've
Mm-hmm.
evolved, and it's given when my perspective on it has allowed me to keep those people that I love, and they have a special place in my heart, even if they're uh, even if their role is not the same as it used to be, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And it also allows
Mm-hmm.
me now to experience them experience them in a real genuine way now. Because if I was constantly locked into the fact that our friendships have changed or our dynamics have changed, it would hurt the ability to really enjoy the new opportunities I have. I have friends that like we are so caught up in nostalgia, and I think that they're so caught up in the fact that things are not the same,
Mm-hmm.
maybe because their change is different than my change, that it makes it difficult for us to just appreciate the time that we have now. And the one thing that we know,
Mm-hmm.
being in our mid 30s, I've already lost friends that I had back in college. I've had people that
Yeah.
are not with me from, so I know intimately not to waste time on those type of things. Like if I got you in front of me, if I have you here, I'm gonna celebrate that because that's a blessing. Every
Mm-hmm.
day I have
When
Yes.
you say not with you, do you mean like
Passed on.
passed on.
passed on? Okay,
I've
yeah,
lost friends
not
that
physically.
I've had from college. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm acting like it's surprising. Like we never know when our time is gonna be called. But when it happens, you're still
Mm-hmm.
like, dang, he was only 33 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it trained my mind to be like, I'm not tripping about the difference is if I can still obviously within reason if we've just changed to the point that we can't come together, that's unfortunate, but that's a reality too. But if I can enjoy and have my time with you still as my friend or a person in my life as a significant person, because associate, friend, whatever, you're still significant, you still matter to me. um Ted, thank you.
And he agreed.
He agrees.
Amen. He said amen.
Amen.
He's with me with it. He's definitely with me with it. But those things of what I've taken, and that's the way I approach it. So because I have friends like the people that I rock with. People are shocked, like, "Hey man, you and Christian still rocking?" I'm like, bro, we'll never not be rocking. We'll always be that. They saw you at my birthday. Like, I can't believe y'all still kick it. I was like, I mean, we don't kick it like we back in Johnson days, but it's
Yeah.
Because
always
you're not down the street.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like, but it's still it's 100% love, and
Yeah.
it feels genuine. Like next time I see T, I'm like, it's gonna feel love because I'm excited because we right here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just appreciative of the fact that I have people that I can always harken back on those days. I look at those pictures from back when we was like 19, and I
Come on,
just
harken
laugh.
back. You better be poetic with it. Wax poetic on the mic.
You know?
Oh my God, we was a little crew, wasn't
Yeah,
we?
you know what
Oh
I
my
mean? I
God,
had
We was holding each other
my
down.
4X polo and stuff. Like, I mean,
Like ridiculous. And you were this big.
yeah.
I was like, why are your clothes
Now
so
those
big?
and
now
some
those
flip
clothes fit
flops.
perfectly.
And some flip flops, bro.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I just
Yeah.
appreciate it for what it is and what it will be, and I take that appreciation to everybody, you know,
Yeah.
to everything. You know that these relationships are oftentimes they're a blessing that God has
Oh,
orchestrated.
for sure.
So I just whatever however it comes, I just appreciate it because it just adds to the flavor of my life, and that's how I approach it.
I love that. I love that. I love what you said about just appreciating what was and the memories and all the times that you shared. Like I have so many relationships. I'm like, oh, they were such a blessing to me. We're not friends and we don't talk
Mm-hmm.
anymore. But like those friendships that we did have in that time we did share, I always like am so grateful when I look back on it.
100.
But I also know that God has a way of like making room in your life for new things that are to come. And I heard somebody say you haven't even met all the people who are gonna love you yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I just loved
Mm-hmm.
that token because it was like it's so true. Sometimes to have something new, something previous has to be rearranged,
Exactly.
and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean it didn't mean anything to you or it wasn't beautiful, but it has to be rearranged to make space for what's to come. So I'm so appreciative that God would send new people in my life as well, to love me and take me to a new level. But that will never change like the people that God has been there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
so and who have ridden with you and been with you, but it is awesome to have new relationships as well. So I thought that was beautiful because I hear the things like no new friends and stuff. Like you don't even know the people that everybody
You
is so
don't
lucky.
even
Yeah,
know.
like
No new
it's the
friends is
people
so
that
stupid.
Yeah.
That's
that's so
so
silly.
silly
You
to
know,
say.
silly to say, and what God has for you, relationships that are gonna, change your life. Like all you need is like one relationship to really change the
Exactly.
trajectory of your life. So, yeah, I love that. I love that.
I definitely agree with both of you. I love a couple of things that you all said. I think Tara, you mentioned using the appropriate language for friends and
Mm-hmm.
learning that. That was something that I had to learn because coworkers ain't friends.
Mm.
Family ain't always friends. Like you have to know the categories. And also, I think we feel like I personally feel like we're in such a society where people are trying to erase boxes, but boxes are so important because it allows the expectation settings. It
Yeah,
allows you to understand what you should anticipate to give to this person, but also receive from this
yeah,
person. And
yeah.
so if I cannot put you into a box, doesn't have to be bad. Like you check boxes on every application you put,
Hmm.
so you have to do it. They're there for a reason. I think that's very important for sure. And then George, you talking about like appreciating the moments that you had with
Yeah,
friends.
I love that.
I have friends that say the same thing, like you and George still rocking. Yeah, I mean we may not talk as often as we used to, because we're not living down the street from one. I mean, I don't even think we were down the street. Our dorms were right next to each other, and we were in classes together. I mean, I remember meeting George, and it was me and one other third black person. We had to. We was like, so we the three black people. So we just we became Wu-Tang Clan. That was our Wu-Tang Clan. It was us. So like. And I'm so thankful that birthed this friendship with us and this relationship. And so, yeah, we could both talk about how we would love to talk more, but we understand that the feelings and I'm gonna be there. The birth of your daughter, I'm gonna be there. The integral things, the what, like I'm gonna make sure to celebrate you as often as possible because I love you and I care about you and you're my friend and I'm always gonna consider you a friend. Same with Tarrah. Like when Tarrah first moved, it was a struggle for us to kind of get on a communication tip. We was like missing each other a lot, and it was like, and I'm not even going to say it was one person over the other, but I was not doing the best at being as communicative or open as I could, and people had to sit me down and say, hey, these things, but they felt comfortable.
Get it together. No.
So they felt comfortable enough to say these things to me, which I appreciated. Yeah. And by the grace of God, didn't take offense to.
Look at it.
By the grace of God, I didn't take offense to it, but I took it as counsel. Because this is, for me, friends are supposed to be words of counsel. And so, yeah, there are situations, like you said, Tarrah, where your values may change. Maybe you are at 50 still trying to go out and party and like Ray, and I'm not trying to do that. Like I really want to be at home. I'm not Glorilla. I do want to be at home. It may be 7 p.m. Friday. It may be 95 degrees. A nigga will have me and I will have that nigga as well. Like we both will have, like I want that. That's what I want. Like I don't want a nigga to not have me. I want to have a nigga and a nigga got me. Yeah. Like that's what I want. So we may not be on the same wavelength for that if that is what you are looking at. Yeah. But I think identifying for real, like you grow up. I have, as you know, both of you all know, I've had to let go of some friends, which was very disheartening for me because there are some people that I thought would be on this plane ride with me forever. Yeah. And it was hard. It was hard. We don't talk a lot about friendship breakups, but they are likened to the same things of relationships. It's a heartbreak. A heartbreak is a heartbreak.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you think that there are going to be some people who are going to ride to the top with you till the wheels fall off. And then you realize, oh, your wheels fell off a long time before mine. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I got to just keep going. So I definitely feel like I think there's beauty, and then there's also like knowledge in the fact of human evolution in the sense of like growing up and responsibilities changing and different things that really, for me, shows the beauty of God. Because as things change, you really see who's supposed to be in that revolving circle with you. Yeah, for sure. You grow up. You not always gonna be down the hall from someone in a dorm room. Y'all gonna get real jobs that require real time. You're gonna get married. You're gonna have children. You're going to travel. You're gonna do all these things. And so it shows how, like, who is supposed to continue to still be in that revolving, like, circle as you're moving forward and progressing in your life. And supposed to stay there. So what I have learned, especially like George, you brought up something that's really dear to me. Losing friends early on is a hard thing, like physically losing them. And we know this. We lost a friend right after graduate. I mean, we had literally just graduated. and someone passed away. And this was like one of my closest friends at the time. And I was just like, houseway. I literally had just talked to you 2 days before this. We were talking about what was going to be happening during summer and what we're going to be doing, all these plans, and it just woke me up. And I was just like, you really never know how long someone's going to be here. 23 years old, seemingly fully healthy, has no underlying issues, and they are gone in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So but I also remember the joy that they left with people and the impact and how people revere them and talk about them. And so I was like, I want to appreciate people while they're here.
Yeah.
And I also want people to appreciate me when I'm gone.
Yeah.
And so that kind of like shaped that. I was already on that way, but I started to take it a little bit more seriously after that.
Yeah.
And so I think friendship evolutions are super important to understand, because as a human, you want to be continuously evolving, right? You don't want to be at a standstill or stuck in the same position. So I'm so glad that you all, I guess I want to ask now, do you feel like the evolutions of the friendships that you all have been able to have and maintain have worked out in your favor?
I think for me, and to piggyback off what Tara said, was that understanding. I've always felt that the people that have kind of latched onto me or been around me or have come into my life, it's not by happenstance, right? It's all by design. And so when I approach these relationships, I look at it like, this is something that was already designed for me. So however it works out, the only responsibility for me is to make sure that I present myself in the right way and I'm a good friend. I can't always control how friendships work
Yeah.
out. I can't control how they
Yeah.
matriculate. If I'm wrong, I need to address it. I need to right the wrong. But I've had friendships that have fallen apart or dissolved, and it wasn't anything that I did. It wasn't anything that happened. It's just sometimes people just drift away. It hurts like bad. It hurts bad when friendships drift away. But like Tara was saying, was like, you got to understand, like, my faith in God helps me to deal with that in the sense, like, God brought him in, God will take him away. God is also going to bring other people in my life. I can't, if I get so hunkered down and upset about that, that's going to prevent me for what's coming for me, what's next for me.
Yeah.
So, like, I've always appreciated like that, and having that understanding has allowed me to take away a lot of the anxiety about, like, things that I can't control. I
Yeah.
can't control the people in my sphere. I just
Mm-hmm.
love on them. I just got to love on you. I want to be there for you. Some people, I've had people, like, my biggest thing, I want to help you. How can I help? What can I do? And I have been in a position where, not to brag, but I can help people in a lot of different ways. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that was the purpose of me doing what I'm doing. God didn't give me this title just because just for me to be just say, oh, I'm a lawyer. Blah, 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 blah. No, I'm here to help people. But I've had people literally saying I'm good and turn it away, and that was a struggle. I'm like, okay, I get it, but that evolution, having that perspective, has allowed me to navigate all of those things, navigate the uncertainties of people's reactions and how people will move, because you never know what somebody's really going through and what their plan is.
Yeah.
Is allowed me to navigate those uncertainties in a way that's a healthy way. And Ted,
He's agreeing. You always been on
it's
your MLK tip.
yeah, I've been able to navigate all of that in a really healthy way, and that's taken time to get to that point. And it also allows me that even if somebody drifts away, if they ever come back, I'm a welcome them back in open arms. It's like, I understand, like, we don't know what I don't necessarily know what everything is the purpose of everything is. I don't know if you going away was for a purpose for me to learn something or to get something, and maybe you coming back is a time for me to learn something, to get something. I take everything as they come right in front of me. You know, like as every opportunity pops up, I'm just gonna take it in and try to make the most of it or try to make sense of it. But that's how I've approached it, and it's allowed me to have a peace of mind that is great. It's a supernatural peace of mind because I trust it all with him, right? Not to get on my soapbox, but that's where I get it from, right?
You better give him the glory. Give him the glory, as old girls say. No, I definitely can attest to that as for sure. I think being able to be mature enough to let people and I want to preface this by saying people who have not harmed or brought harm your way re-enter your life is maturity in a sense. Like sometimes people exiting has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, most times I feel like.
They yes, I would agree. Most times they are going through things that you just don't know, and so as long as it hasn't been a situation where this is like wrongdoing or something that's happened where you feel crossed or you can't trust or da da da, allowing the kind of like revolving door almost to have them like re-enter is really great, I think. And you just have to also use discernment for sure. Like to understand. And sometimes, a lot of times, your love for someone will clog your discernment. I can be a testament to that. I have had a situation. I've had a couple of situations where there have been warnings and red flags that I have actively ignored because I love this person and I really wanted to have them around or for whatever reason. And sometimes we feel responsible for people and we are not responsible for another adult. Mm-hmm. Like there is a level of accountability we can have with people and we can have like as a friend but at the actual intentions and actions of someone is their responsibility.
Yeah.
So if the evolution is like leading you to a place where you're like, oh, if I leave their life, they're going to just start making all kind of hideous mistakes. Well, they're going to make it with or without you.
Facts.
Because that's just they just make their own decisions because they're an adult.
Right.
Like, I mean, even when you're not an adult, kids make their own decisions. As a human being, you grow, you live and breathe making your own choices. So, those choices are influenced, but whatever. So I definitely love that idea of allowing individuals to feel now I don't think the word okay is what I'm looking for, but okay in feeling like sometimes I can't be what I feel like I need to be for other people. And it's good to have individuals, you know, you can come back to as the new person and be welcomed with open arms. Mm-hmm. Like, it may not be the way it was when you exited. We can rebuild that, but there's no judgment. There's like I said, this revolving door that happens and you come back and we try to build back on what can be. So I definitely agree with that. We are 3 full-on grown adults with 3 full-on full lives. And so I think it's important to talk about how relationships evolve. Like, they don't stay the same. And we've talked about how you have relationships based off proximity and stuff, but you can be well into adulthood, been friends with someone for 20 years, and it ends. Mm-hmm. It just happens sometimes because of situations, that you may not.
I'm about to say
Situations
they will
will
arise. They will arise, and
arise
you got to be smart
in
about
our
it.
lives, but we gotta be smart about it.
Okay. Oh, keep your boy in your prayers. He got a neck injury or a spine something.
Oh
Hip
no.
injury. Usher. He had
That's
to
actually the
cancel
next
his.
concert I'm about to go see. He's coming back to Atlanta in October.
Yeah, he had to
If you
postpone it, right?
can.
Hopefully, hopefully.
I mean, yeah, I'm hoping he does. Yeah, being on skates and stuff, that
That's a lot.
is it's a lot, and you fall on them. Man, I saw him in Vegas, and it was a great show. But I'm like, dang, you are doing a lot. Like, not but I'm like, man, you are doing a lot. And if one false move, and, so just the game of probability. So I'm praying that he gets better and heals. But yeah, situations will arise. It's just about how you respond to them, right? I think for sure how you just handle them and mature. I think I'm trying to figure out how to say this. If you're evolving as a person, as a human being, there's no way around your friendships evolving.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
The people who are in your immediate circle, you are going to start to look at. And so I think what I want to leave off with saying, and I also want to give you all the opportunity for final thoughts, is people sometimes will make you feel bad for evolution or changing. Um, but if your change is associated with something that would be deemed progression, and someone's trying to make you feel bad about it, they don't want to progress. And so that may be something to take heed to when you're making decisions about your future. It is beautiful, and it is so good, and it's so cute to say, yeah, I've had this friend since high school. We've been ride or die. We ride or die.
A1 day one.
A1 day one. We love to say it, A1 day one. But it's also okay to call someone who meant you at the next progression of your evolution of A1 day one. Because they also have been there with you since you became anew or you evolved. So don't hold on to the A1 day one loyalty tag, because I mean, heck, it's been a lot of things that have taught us that the wire, all kind of stuff. The A1 day one don't mean that you're gonna make it with that person. So loyalty and loyalty and how do you say, friendship and loyalty are not synonymous in the sense that they do not mean the same thing. Someone can be loyal to you and not like you. It could because they're loyal to you for a specific outcome. A friend will be around even when the loyalty, or even when loyalty is around and it has no payoff. So what are you all final thoughts on the evolutions of friendships, and what can you tell our listeners about any advice you have as they are growing up, as they are making new friends, keeping old friends, trying to figure out where friends fall into place?
You want me to go? Okay. I've always, it might sound cliche. It might really sound cliche, but I really believe this is to be true. I feel like for myself, and this is the standard I hold myself to, I want to have the type of friendships that I would say like this is the type of friend that I am, right? I want to set that tone. So I want to be able to evolve, so I have to give my friends that same grace to evolve. I want to be
Love
a
that.
friend that is reliable and trustworthy, and so I expect that
Yeah.
to my friends, and that's what I offer as well. So whether or not the other person reciprocates or always does exactly how I'd want them to do, that's kind of outside of my scope. I don't have control over that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to show up as the type of friend that I want, right? I'm going to show up the type of friend that I want. I'm going to be that person. And I tell that to myself. I tell that to my daughter. Listen, if you want this type of friend, then be that type of friend. Be that type of friend that is trustworthy, that will never betray somebody, that will always speak life into them, will have their best interests at heart, and hopefully, whatever you put out, comes back to you. You can't always guarantee it, but that's the best thing that we can do. That's the only thing that we really can offer out here in the world is putting out what we want to get back in. So that'll be my only recommendation to people. People will change inevitably. People will go through things, but the only thing that you have control over is how you show up and how you show up every day. And if you are content in that, the outcomes become a little bit less important. So yeah, that's what I would offer for people.
Tarrah?
I love that. Everything you said. I love what he said. He hit the nail on the head. The only thing I would say is just like to piggyback off of what he said is to the more the better of an individual I become, the better friend I can be to other people. So as I heal as a person, I become a better person all the way around. I learn more. I grow more. I allow God to work on my character, and I go through things that built me as a stronger person internally. I'm able to express that to other people. I'm able to show up better for other people. I develop boundaries. I am able to communicate better. Every time that I level up as an individual, and become a better all around human, I'm able to share that with the people around me and impact them positively. So I think as we grow as individuals and we grow and become better people, then we can become better friends. And I hope that that I'm able to be half the friend Christian's been to me. No, Chris has been to me. I
I
love
feel like
to
I'm the blessed
learn.
one.
Listen, like, you learn from your friends. Are you humble enough to learn, like, man, she showed up for me, she didn't have to do that, or opportunity to show up for her, like, how can I learn? And you learn people. And if you're willing to humble yourself and say, teach me how to love you, teach me how to be your friend, like, what matters to you? Everything that matters to me doesn't necessarily matter to you, but let me do things that matter to you. And study your friends. Like, I don't think we study enough the people we love enough. Like, how can I study and know what she likes, what she doesn't like, what pisses her off, what makes her feel loved, what makes her feel, supported? I think we can do a better job at that. So when we invest our time and focus on people, we can be a better friend. So that's all I would say.
I love all of that. And just to add one more link to that chain, is just like, there's no way you can say you've been friends with someone so long and you don't know what tees them off. You don't know what excites them. You don't know about them. Like, y'all gotta stop saying just because people been in your life for X amount of years that is your best friend, or that is, like, who are they now? Do you
Mm-hmm.
know what it wakes them up in the morning? Do you know what they feel like their purpose is? Do you know, like, what would make them upset? What makes them happy? What makes them cry? Like, if you don't really know those things, there is a gap
Yeah.
in that connection that's
Yeah.
happening. So I agree with everything both of you all said, giving people grace. I am a grace connoisseur. I give people grace because I know I am not perfect, nowhere near it. So I am thankful that the people in my life have given me the grace that I needed when I needed it. Because the
Come
Lord
on.
knew fit to put people in my life who would be able to work with me. And so I will give people grace. The only thing I will say in that is pay heavy attention to people who will take advantage of that. You can keep your heart open without having to have the Judas attack you. And that comes with the discernment and the really understanding and paying attention to people's actions and what they do. So this is not to say be on alert or have a guard up or have a wall up or be like, everybody's out to get me. No, everybody's not out to get
Just
you.
use discernment.
And yes, use your discernment and really be a judger of what you feel is happening and trust that. So I am so thankful that you all joined me for this conversation. You all took time out of your busy schedules, and we won't forget this. Friendship University community appreciates it. George, tell the people where they can follow you if they need law advice or if they need somebody to see a black man doing his big black thing, getting married, being a present father. You know, we like to say these things don't exist, but you're out here doing it. Tell the people where they can follow you.
Sure. Thank you. First, I'd like to say I'm just honored to be here. It was good for the soul to link up with my friends and have this conversation. I'm grateful for it. I'm so grateful for it. It's good for the soul. My social media is my name, so it's George Aigbe Jr. It's AIGBE. George, spell George, AIGBE Jr. I got it like that just in case I ever want to do something. I don't want nobody else using my name. So it's very simple. It's my full name. If you want to follow me on social media, I just be posting dad stuff. I'm doing my dad thing. That's all it is. So
He's very funny on Twitter, you all. If you ever want to follow him on Twitter, he is hilarious on Twitter.
yeah,
I laugh about everything. And if you are an Atlanta sports enthusiast on Twitter too,
yeah.
he's very hilarious there.
You know,
So
we can have a support group together. We can support each other. So like it's been it's this is good. This is good. Great opportunity. Conversations like this are important to have. So I hope that it is helpful for anybody who can reap any benefit from it.
all right, Tarrah, the people on all of this will be in the description box below. But Tarrah, tell the people where they can find you at.
We post clips of Friendship University on my Tarrah Global Music page. I also have Tarrah Lights, which is more of my business side, and where you can find me that. So those are our two main pages. Joy Group is my company where we do content and fun things like that, and photography for our clients, branding for our clients. So Joy Group Farm, Tarrah Global Music, Tarrah, and that's TARRAH Light. Any of those, you can find me and get at me, depending on what you want to know about. So,
Okay,
that's it.
Okay,
Just
she has avenues for you to get enlightened, for you to actually lighten yourself in beauty, for you to get the music enlightenment, and for your brand to get enlightenment. So all that will be in the description box below. And you all know you can follow us. We are at Funny Podcast on all platforms. That is at FUNIPODCAST on Instagram, on Facebook, we're still working on getting our TikTok back because for whatever reason they hate black women and they don't want us to see us succeeding. So they have banned our TikTok for no reason. We are also Friendship University Podcast on YouTube. If you want to get in on these visuals, please like, subscribe, follow all of us. But you have tuned into another episode. We're so thankful for you joining in, and we will see you next week. Class is in session. Peace.